This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. The lights are off, everything is quiet, you're ready to sleep, but your racing thoughts are keeping you awake. Sound familiar? If your thoughts won't give you a rest, it might be time to talk through them in therapy. Visit betterhelp.com/allies to give it a try.
Hello, welcome to the Easy Allies podcast. I'm Daniel Bloodworth, coming to you from Los Angeles, California. This week I am joined by Isla Hink.
Hi.
Michael Huber.
Hello.
Michael Damiani.
Team Bowser.
Ooh.
You were on Team Bowser. Did you win?
I don't know if Team Bowser won.
I was on
Wait,
Team...
there's not a Team Bowser.
Team Bowser won.
Is there?
I
Team
think
Bowser
the
won
other
in the
car
end.
was
The
Team
computer
Bowser.
one. The AI is.
Bowser was celebrating.
Right,
Bowser was celebrating.
No,
I
but
was
on the
clapping
ride
for
there,
Bowser.
on the ride there were
evil.
two cars next to each other, and the other car cheered when it
Damiani's
said Team
evil.
Bowser wins.
I clapped for the smokers too. So
you could be on Team Bowser. Don said there's no way.
I don't know. Maybe
No,
I'm
there's
wrong.
no way to be on Team Bowser, Damiani.
Then who's that other car?
maybe I was losing coins.
They showed
shooting
other
at all
scores.
The bad guys. I was supposed to shoot the good
Those
guys.
are your competitors on the track.
That's Team Bowser.
No, Team Bowser is the AI competition.
But it showed their
then
scores
there's
and it
two
blinked and
different
it said
team-
they won.
Yeah, because our cart couldn't beat them.
But they were Team Bowser then.
The computer, the machine is Team Bowser, and it beat us.
Then who are
got
both
it.
cars?
Gotcha.
Yeah, who's the other car?
You're always Team
Car
Mario.
right next to you.
So there's Team Mario and Team Mario versus Team Bowser. Two
Yes.
Team Marios.
The car next to you on the parallel, it's parallel tracks. Yep.
I
Okay.
really hope someone from Universal gives us corrections.
So is it an uneasy alliance with the other car? The other
corrections
car
needed.
could win, but at least they beat Team Bowser.
Maybe.
I think
Kinda
it's a
thing?
team effort. I think it has to equal a certain amount of score with both cars.
Got it.
Okay. I believe you, Don, 100%. You're the professional.
You
From my
see an
experience,
alternate
that's what it
ending
seems.
where Team Bowser wins.
Got it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, making it all happen in control room. That's Don Casanova.
A lot of corrections that I had to clear up right there. All good now. We're all good.
Good thing you're there. And we
What
got
an insane
Gabby
way to
watching
start a
everything,
podcast.
making sure we're all kept in line.
There's Gabigail.
Friends.
Gabigail.
Abigail.
Not her name.
Not her name. We're here to talk about some of the biggest headlines in video games this week. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is back from the dead in very interesting ways.
From the undead.
Yeah, is a vampire back from the dead? Aren't they undead?
They're undead.
Yeah.
They never... It depends on the mythology.
Yeah.
Sometimes you die and then come back as a vampire. Sometimes
Okay.
you just get turned.
Got
So you never really die.
Got it.
yeah.
I would know.
The quote-unquote Switch 2 was reportedly behind
from
closed doors at
True Blood?
Gamescom.
yeah.
What? Oh, yeah.
And we went to Super Nintendo World this week, so that is why we're all loopy and tired and correcting each other before we've even done anything yet.
We started the podcast. We're arguing with each other.
It's going to be a weird podcast. We're exhausted.
We can do it.
But it's a good time.
It was
a
a
good
great
time. We're going to talk about it.
Great time.
Before we get started, though, we must answer for mistakes we made in last week's episode. Don, begin corrections music, please.
Boop.
All right, these are weird corrections anyways. I had to pick the most straightforward ones, but even these are kind of weird. This one I'm a little unsure about. We'll roll with it. People are saying that they were able to extend their essential PlayStation Plus essential subscriptions for several years. One person said they extended to 2027.
Damn,
Whoa.
Sony
Another
wins.
claimed they knew people who extended through 2032.
What?
Hey, do it.
Well, now
Do
it's
it.
too late. But yeah, so yeah, I think the
Sony
limitations
wins. That
we were
was one
talking
of their
about were
plans.
specific to switching tiers.
Gotcha.
It feels like that was one of their intents.
Yeah.
Maybe it was
Everything
actually
is
for Xbox.
Well, that stuff all happened too before. Yeah, so who knows? Anyways, yeah, that all had to have been done before September 6th, and now the prices are starting to get locked
Got that
in.
email today.
Yep.
Already canceled.
Sorry, yeah,
so.
canceled. It canceled.
I
It's
never
fine.
bothered going up.
Yeah,
I'm just
cancel.
on normal old PlayStation Plus.
I'm
Well,
canceling
yeah, but that's
all of it.
$80 a year now.
Yeah.
Up from 60?
Yep.
Yeah.
$80.
Oh, whatever.
For no reason.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't really get anything.
Nope.
Well,
A free game and online
You get those
play.
3 games.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but
But
there
who
needs
are
to be
they
an
for?
essential now.
Yeah.
The actual essential.
Or
Anyways.
just back in the day when playing online didn't cost money.
Right.
Thanks, Xbox.
And this goes into the next correction, which is more of an answer to Damiani's question,
Oh, cool.
asking whether any first-party Sony games with online functionality
Yeah.
are free to play on PC.
Yeah, curious.
I forgot about this. PlayStation actually published Predator Hunting Grounds. So
Okay.
they are listed as the publisher on Steam,
Okay.
and that game does require a PS Plus subscription to play on PlayStation, but
no.
can be played online for free with no sub on PC.
Okay.
Okay.
So okay, good.
It's
Sorry,
free on
I
PC.
jumped the gun on my.
You jumped the gun.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
On your
news.
wild cackling.
That's great. No, I wasn't cackling. I was
No,
like, no. That's sick. All right, more Sony games on PC, please, so I can play them for free online.
And then Huber, you were wondering about E3's attendance compared to Gamescom's
I was.
320,000 attendees.
Yeah.
IGN has a page that like lists them out year by year.
Great.
Every year that E3 has been in existence. So the last few years when it was public, E3 had between 66,000 and 69,000 visitors per
Nice.
year.
Whoa.
All-time high was 70,000, which the show reached in both 1998 and 2005.
Wow.
And Gamescom was 300,000?
320,000.
Woo!
Yeah.
Crazy.
But E3 is the biggest
My only
gaming show of the year.
question-
Yeah, Gamescom's
to preempt,
nothing.
to preempt any corrections, there's 2 types of attendance counting in convention spaces. There's like turnstile,
Right.
and then there's uniques.
Well, Anime Expo has Turnstile.
yeah, so I'm curious how each did it. If they're like equal, those numbers are
Right, they might
counted
not
the
be-
same way. Just preemptive
Tracking the same
corrections for
metrics.
next
I
week.
think Gamescom is just like people,
Okay.
at least the way
Warm
that they,
bodies.
they explained it.
I mean, it definitely feels like a lot of people.
Gamescom is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're saying,
Come.
yeah, Anime Expo is like similarly like hundreds of thousands, but you're saying like the Turnstile, so it's like people coming in could get counted like 4 times for how many days it's open. Or
Do we have
whatever,
info on Comic-Con? Because when you're in there, it feels like there are 50 million
Comic-Con's
people
like
in
100
there.
something thousand, like 120, 150.
It is a nightmare in there.
Yeah, but yeah.
But Gamescom's the same way on public days,
Yeah.
Games.
and it's
Come.
way bigger.
I like how your giant cup says, all the sips!
All the sips.
With an
sips.
exclamation point.
Yeah. Because
Starbucks actually has a really good slogan. It's
That first sip
sip feeling, and like every time I
it's-
have my coffee, I'm just like,
When I have-
fucking life. Oh
When
my
I have my
God,
insane
yes.
sugar nectar caffeine drink in the morning, it feels good. I am addicted to strawberry acai refreshers made with water.
Nice.
Yeah, they say more than 130,000 people go to San Diego,
Got
but
it.
it like, in 2019, for instance, it hit 167, which is a high. But New York Comic Con was 250,000 that year. I didn't think it was
Whoa.
bigger. What the?
Wow.
I thought
didn't
San
realize
Diego
that.
was the biggest.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I don't get
Okay.
that.
that's why you gotta know how they count the attendees.
Yeah.
How do you
It's
count
a
the
bit-
attendees?
Yeah.
How do you count 'em?
Bit of like number.
Yeah, one guy.
Number.
But yes, but
Slow
Huber, that's
down.
exactly it. If you're
Cooking the
doing that,
books.
that's Turnstile. You're just counting bodies
People
that
going
walk in the
through.
door every
Yeah.
day. Whereas if you're counting people that like bought a ticket
Ticket
registration,
Yeah.
That one person
Or
used
like
the same ticket.
Unique
multiple
scans of a badge, and then it's like if
Yeah.
you scan again, it doesn't count. you know?
Biometrics.
Biometrics. This is the longest correction.
Anyways, yeah, that music's still rolling. I like that song though.
That's a good song.
If you have a correction, leave it in the YouTube comments on either the public.
Oh wait, hold on, Blood. Gabby has another correction.
Uh-oh.
You guys didn't see the people doing the clicker yesterday at the amusement park?
Yeah, we saw that.
Oh yeah, okay.
Nothing to do with what we're talking about.
That has nothing to do with what we're
But
talking
you were
about.
talking. Yes, you were talking about like attendees or whatever.
But
Yeah,
at
they
Gamescom,
always do that to count how many people are in a room in a ride at a certain time.
But they're counting how many people are riding the whole day.
Sure.
They're keeping track. I think they're
Total
keeping track of
riders.
how many people they've let through to make sure they don't let too many people.
Well, they were specifically counting the wristbands too. But this is a whole other
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, they were
This is
specifically counting
different.
wristbands.
Different. Horse of a different color.
I'm gonna have to loop that song a couple times.
Extended cut.
Let's keep vamping on this.
Yeah, if you have a correction, leave it in the YouTube comments on either the public or Patreon version of this episode. Start with the word correction so I can find it in search, and leave a timestamp so I know what the heck we were talking about. End corrections music.
Boop.
We did it.
We did it. Hopefully they will do it. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2
Yeah.
is getting a full overhaul.
Development hell.
Yeah.
Developer switch.
Yeah.
Complete switch. So now
Jeez.
the Chinese room,
Yeah.
makers of Dear Esther, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, and Amnesia Machine for Pigs,
Yeah.
Great games.
is working on Bloodlines 2. They've been quietly reworking the game for the last 2 years.
Oh, that's good. Head
Yeah.
start. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
good,
so
good,
this was
good.
originally this game was supposed to come out in March 2020.
Yeah.
And I've seen developers say that, like, this is why you've seen all this Vampire the Masquerade stuff, because these were supposed to be the side games
Supplemental.
after the main course, but the main course didn't happen.
Crazy.
The original developer was Hardsuit Labs. They were taken off the game, and it was indefinitely delayed in 2021.
What had they done before Blood? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head.
No worries.
But the Chinese room was brought in soon after that. PC Gamer said, after talking with Paradox and the Chinese room, that they are still uncomfortably in the dark about what happened to the previous version of the game.
Whoa.
That's intense.
They're not talking about it.
That's intense.
So the Chinese room obviously seems like a potentially weird pick for this because of, the kinds of games that they've made in the past haven't necessarily been like really RPG systems heavy or quote unquote gameplay heavy.
Yeah.
Even a Machine for Pigs is like
Yeah, more
walk
narrative
in a room, do
adventures.
some puzzles.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely like. It's weird because it's one of those picks, and I like the Chinese room. I love Dear Esther, and I like Everybody's Gone to Rapture, especially the soundtracks of both of those. Jessica Curry is like my favorite video game composer. She's not with the company anymore, if I am correct. She stepped away,
Yeah, there's a
I
little
believe,
bit
a long
of-
time ago.
I don't know the full story about that, but yeah.
I think she just didn't feel the industry was treating her well, I guess. Which, hey, probably not wrong. But yeah, it's having, because I also love Vampire the Masquerade, so I like both of these things. I can see it.
Yeah. They're specifically talking about like the vibes and the world building and all
Yeah.
that stuff, yeah.
And that's the part I'm not worried about with Chinese room. The vibes, the look, the walking, like that'll all be fine. It's like Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines was like revolutionary for the stuff you could do and like how crazy it
immersive
got and the
simness
immersive
is what I'm
simness
nervous
of
about.
it. Yeah, and like you had a bunch of choices of how to do things. Like you can go through the sewer, you can be a weird looking freak monster that can't be seen by humans, or you break the masquerade. Like you can do all kinds of stuff in those, and all kinds of stuff you can do is not a staple of Chinese room games.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that's the
and
part I'm like,
The PC Gamer writer, he even said that like one of their favorite games of all time, so like this is the right person to be doing this interview.
yeah.
But they had hired who knows how many people they've hired, but the creative director is Alex Skidmore, who previously worked on the Fable series, which has a lot of that kind
A
of
lot
stuff.
of things you can do.
Yeah, as well as Gears Tactics, which is kind of an
Okay.
interesting random pull there. The game is still set in Seattle, still using a lot of the art and level design, but a lot of the rest of it is being completely overhauled.
level design. That's interesting.
That
Skill
is
trees
interesting.
and all of that kind of thing
Very interesting
are
note.
all being redone.
So that means they didn't like
new code base,
the
new
writing or the
gameplay
gameplay
mechanics.
or
Yeah, and a new protagonist. Partly because they didn't want to do the same thing as the first Bloodlines. So they're saying originally. the
Wait, you
main-
don't create a character? this?
Yes, no. So here's the thing. So they say
What?
originally the main character was going to be a thin blood vampire, similar to the first game. It's going to be like your first day as a vampire and learning all of this stuff,
Right.
right? Now they're going with an elder vampire who is awakened after, it seems like hundreds of years of torpor or whatever.
Yo, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I wonder if you'll have to, because coming out of torpor, like if you are like, that's how they
Explain not
having powers,
Yeah.
because like elder vampires are like gods,
Yeah.
basically.
Well, and they've talked
Vampire the
about that
Masquerade.
there's been like a culling and all of this stuff going on to where like a lot of the older vampires, have been wiped out or gone into hiding and stuff.
That's crazy.
And they also specified that like, in the mythos, like to be considered an elder vampire, you have to be at least like 300 years
Yeah,
old.
yeah.
So
Yeah, and like usually like once you're that old you become the prince or whatever of your area. Like you're respected and feared and powerful. So yeah, to either everyone you're up against is very powerful or they explain it with like you're getting your groove back, yeah. But like that's a little funny cuz the whole fun in Vampire is like I assume that you'll still be able to pick your like clan and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's huge.
I think
Like they show different powers being used
did
in the
talk
trailer,
about
so
some of that about that, but
Maybe you start as an elder vampire in the beginning and then play a 2 or 3 hour tutorial and then you pick your faction or something.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I don't know. But
That would make the most
They did talk
sense.
about them having it is like a defined character.
Oh.
So it's like but they talked about having a balance between having that defined character and then like allowing the player to like
Yeah.
shape who they are. Like
Yeah.
what the one of the examples they refer to is like the Dark Urge in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
kind of like that.
Okay.
Kind of a thing that they're going for, or
Huh.
in my mind, I'm thinking like Geralt in the Witcher games, where it's like you make a lot of choices, but Geralt is still ultimately
Yeah,
Geralt,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But you decide how you're going to deal with situations and all of that. So, and then the release date is targeted to be next fall now. So.
Yeah.
That's optimistic. That's pretty hopeful.
Yeah. Optimistic. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's been in development for what, like 7 years or whatever.
100,
Yeah.
800
Like
years.
3 or so, 3.5 by the time it actually comes out here from Chinese Room.
And if they're starting with like, if the previous people made the layout of Seattle and they're keeping a lot of that, like, that's a good 8 months of stuff you're not starting over from. So
Yeah, they still say it's set around Christmas time, but now they're like, there's like a historic blizzard or something that's happening.
that's cool.
They've added
Max
that in
Payne.
there. Yeah.
Ooh. Blizzard.
Like, I am cautiously optimistic about this. The predefined character thing is interesting to me. It's not like a fully red flag for me. I mean, I guess I hope you can still like customize some stuff like gender and like not selecting your clan would be kind of weird, but I guess if they're doing a specific story thing, like if you're a Bruja or something or a Malkavian and that's the story, then sure. I don't know. Could be sick. And actually that might make it a little more specific too. I don't know. I hope it's good.
Yeah.
And I hope it plays well.
We
Like-
did see a little bit of gameplay. In
Yeah.
there, and it seems to be like a lot of like fast melee combat. They're
Yeah.
doing some kind of blood magic or whatever too.
Yeah,
like,
thaumaturgy.
It kind of Huber like. Yeah, what did you think of that? It gave me like a little bit of like Ghostwire vibes or something.
Yeah, Kama looked fine, but like I was saying, I want to see that like RPG stuff.
Yeah.
I want to be immersed. I want like a cool character story that I can kind of, meddle with. So
Things.
yeah, cautiously optimistic with how long this has taken, but the optimistic part of me is because Chinese Room is really solid. I like all 3 of those games a lot, and like
Yeah.
Machine for Pigs is not my favorite Amnesia game, but when it was over, I was like, that was a cool game.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Like I feel like with the Chinese Room, like you're guaranteed like a 7 as a floor.
Yeah, at minimum.
Right.
Yeah.
I think. Like
Yes.
given their track record thus
so
far.
fair. So fair.
know?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and it
And-
does sound like everybody involved like wants to do right by this
Yeah.
franchise.
And hey, look what happened to Dead Island 2 after all that time. It's
Right.
a solid game.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, yeah, like you were saying, Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodlines, Vampire the Masquerade, the TRPG, like notwithstanding, like is a beloved game and all that. So like, yeah, everyone working on this is probably big fans and thrilled to be there. Personally, I'm hoping just that they keep with series tradition, and when this game comes out, it has astronomical load times.
they're like hyping up how long the loads are.
10, 15 minutes. Like just waiting for Seattle to load. Like it was like that back in the day with Bloodlines 1. It was insane. Probably not that bad, but it was bad.
Yeah. So I'm not even that in. Like I haven't dived that deep into Vampire. But it's there's one of those games that came out last year that I played a little bit of. It's like, hey, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Blood Hunt, that one?
No. I forget what the
Swan Song?
Minor
Yeah,
Swan Song.
yeah,
yeah.
Okay,
It was the more narrative
That one,
RPG
yeah.
one.
It's-
And Blood Hunt was sick too.
Yeah.
It's D&D for goth girls.
Right.
That's what Vampire is.
So we'll see. Next up, 2 DLC or not DLC? We got a couple of stories this week. So Final Fantasy XVI announced 2 big story DLCs.
So awesome.
And then Zelda announced that they probably won't do any DLCs. So we'll
Wait,
get
there's a probably in there?
Huh?
I thought it was a sure thing. I thought they said we're not doing it.
We'll get to the quotes.
Okay,
It's
okay,
weird.
okay,
The
okay.
way it's worded is really like hedging their bets either way, even though it
Okay.
sounds like they won't.
Okay.
But yeah, so we, depending on like where this goes, we may get into spoiler territory. So we'll try to give you a heads up. But
No
there's
spoilers.
always
Don't spoil
I'm not
Zelda.
spoiling
there's
anything.
timestamps down there or
I'm
whatever.
not spoiling anything for 16.
I haven't finished
If it gets
15.
hot, timestamps in the in descriptions.
Yeah.
What about for us in the room?
I'm not spoiling
I'm not.
anything.
I mean, I'm not. I haven't beaten either one of these games.
okay,
so.
all right.
Well,
Anyways.
yeah, we're not talking about DLC and Zelda, so it's like
All right,
we're
yeah.
fine.
That's
Like,
true.
would it be-
Yeah, I don't care if you
we don't
spoil
need it,
16. I
yeah.
already know how that
Not
goes.
spoiling
And
16
I don't
at
think
all.
16's DLC is going to be spoilers because it's most likely going to be prequel or
Yeah.
interquel stuff.
Okay,
like
okay.
during like a
They do like
a
to do
downtime
that.
part. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be
Because even 15 did that. Like characters
Yeah.
would go away and then the DLC would
exactly.
be
I think
Exactly.
it's gonna be like stuff either like. I mean, can we just go into it?
Dive in, baby.
So Yoshi P at the end of like the PAX panel they did recently had a special message announcing that they had like a free update for 16, which is just new costumes for the major characters, which is kind of nice.
Like the day after I beat it, that happened.
I mean,
like,
yeah,
no!
it's not gonna get you to go back and play it. Like I went and checked them out; they're really nice looking. And I would say only one is probably not as good as the OG one. The others were really like nice upgrades.
Chills was cool.
This is definitely the kind of thing you would do with Final Fantasy mode, though. Second run, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean it's
Oh.
if people are in the middle of it, like it's a nice thing to have. And they added 2 more control schemes, so now there's like 6. Still not letting you completely map out, but hey, they also announced the PC version the development for the PC version has begun. has begun.
It has
so when you
begun.
get when that version comes out, someone will make it so you can just remap the buttons
Yeah.
however you want.
Yeah.
But the bigger news was that initially they'd said like the game was content complete, but they saw like the reception, the feedback, and they're like, we are now going to begin work on 2 different pieces of story-driven DLC. They will be paid DLC, but I mean, it's weird because like I always say like DLC needs to come out within a certain amount of time, but at the same time, I want to give them credit for this wasn't like, oh, the game's out. By the way, we were also working on DLC at the same time, so like stuff you could argue should have been in the main game. It's like,
Right.
no, we had no plans for this, but we're gonna make some for you after the fact. So it's like the core
See,
game is
and-
not compromised.
And it's better too because then they can see how like the fans respond to certain
Exactly.
characters. Maybe it's like, oh, they really love this person. Like,
Right.
let them play as that person in the DLC.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and I think this all goes back to their desire to like steer as hard away from the pitfalls of Final Fantasy 15 as they could. So it's like they wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that the game was a self-contained story, had everything in there,
Yeah.
so that you didn't feel like, oh, yeah, like I'm missing out on this because they wanted to sell some piece of it later
Totally.
on or whatever. Yeah.
Those mid 2000 and 2010s of those
gosh.
DLCs.
Prince of Persia.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
Even Alan Wake.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. You like bank on something, and it's like the reception's like, "Oh, we didn't like that character. We didn't like the aspect of the story." Like,
Yeah.
well, that DLC is about that. So now they can see where people are pointing to, and that's where I was like getting at. So like these are like not really any spoilers, but I mean there's
Some fan
there are
favorite characters out there.
There are time skips in the game, and like one of them like you could easily put one of the DLCs during one of
for
those and
sure,
say
yeah,
some stuff. Obviously, it can't be like major consequential to the like narrative, but you could do something like that. You could pick some of the fan favorite side characers. So like Mid. Like, can you do anything with Mid? Sid.
Yeah, I think Sid is a
Gav.
very
good-
So
good
Sid. So
chance,
for me,
yeah.
Sid,
Sid to
I
me
think
is a lock.
one of them has to be a prequel with Sid. Like,
Yeah,
let's see
has to be.
Sid's past.
Has to
Let's get more in depth with that. I mean, there's other characters tied to Sid's past who are in the main game as well. So we might get to see more of them and get more of their characters developed because
Dion, bro.
I mean, you
Dion?
get Dion. I mean,
Yeah, that's another one people
Benedicta.
brought up, yeah.
I mean,
Benedicta's what I was
Barnabas. Like, you can get a little bit more depth on some of these characters.
And you could do like most of them with a Sid story. Because he's interacted with those guys.
Yeah. And playing as him, like he plays alongside you,
promise you.
so he's very competent in combat. I mean, he's like a little bit older at the point in the main game, but seeing him younger, you know, he'd be like maybe a little bit more agile. He's the dominant of lightning, so he has Ramu. So you would have some of that.
About how that would work.
So you'd have some of that gameplay mechanic in there as well. Obviously, he's not going to be Clive, but it will have some semblance where they can at least use that with a character rather than coming up with some weird story about how we still use dominant powers or do we even go in that direction.
Right.
And another thing they could tie into there, or it could be part of the second DLC, is we've had a lot of requests about where's Leviathan as a dominant. Like, where's a dominant of water? Where's
so you're
Leviathan?
talking about like deep history, like hundreds of years before the story kind of
Yeah, we could have something that was set like further in the past and we could get that answer. Why is Leviathan not around? Something happened in the past. Leviathan's no longer around. There is no more dominant of water or something like that. And then something with Sid would be really cool too. But I'd also love something that involves like Jill, you know, playing as Jill would be pretty cool. Commanding her like her Shiva powers, and you know, there's a long part where her backstory, we don't get to see that part of the time skip. We know what happened with Clive in the first time skip.
We know what happened.
We know
with
Jill, but like
seeing it in person.
But also like that's something you could do if they really wanted you to play as Clive more. You could do missions during the first time skip when he's part of the. Oh man, you got so excited when we said the name, the group that he's a part of. The Empire group, they're like the assassins
Where you
or whatever.
start off the game.
Yeah, we did the active time lore and we read the name. Now I forget it. We need Ben Starr. Ben Starr, what's the name? He had all the answers. But yeah, you could do something like that where he's still, you know, doing, you know, those types of missions, and those could be your comrades because maybe they do something with maybe they do something with a party system. Maybe
that's what I was going to say, Dominic, because. The thing I was thinking about is since one of the big complaints from a lot of people was like, oh, not my Final Fantasy, like it's action now, it's not an RPG. Do you think that one of the DLCs would change the combat style, like change to a turn-based thing, or just completely do
I don't think they would change
like
the turn-based, but I think with what Damiani's saying is if there's potential...
Party, like, control?
Yeah, if there's potential... Because you're not... So like... Clive is the only one that could like switch between icons like that. So instead of switching between icons with one character, you switch between characters that have different icons.
That would be cool.
That's why I think like something with Sid could involve like Benedicta, maybe like even like Barnabas. It's so you got like Odin, you got Garuda, you got Ramu. Yeah. Maybe they can like have the Leviathan dominant if they want to tie it together. So you have four member party there, and they each have a dominant.
That'd be cool.
And yeah, instead of like cycling through them, you just go to the other character and take control. And they can make it as easy as like an instant like teleport snap, so like it's not disorienting. Like the character could snap to your spot.
I mean, I think it would work more like 7 Remake, right, where you just kind of switch characters.
We could maybe do that, but I think they could also maybe just to try and preserve the current system as is. Yeah. It's just like the character like warps to you or something. I don't know how they could do it.
It's like a tag system. It's like, hey, help me out. Switch spots. Basically.
Yeah. I mean, it would be nice if you could swap between them in their different positions. That would be kind of nice to have. But that's something they could explore is giving you control of multiple characters again, and then building out those characters' abilities, because it's not so much about customizing your dominant abilities or your icon abilities that you had with Clive. It's now about, well, they're kind of restrictive, so like maybe they need like other types of abilities to level up. So there is more of like an under the hood RPG system going on there with either stat based or maybe the skill tree changes. So like you want to unlock like it's still a hybrid of like the character action moves you can unlock, but some of them are just like this increases your HP or this increases your, you know, your defense or something like that. And you can like mix and match a little bit of that.
Snort some crystals and get a new power.
Yeah. Kind of like, you know, like 13. It kind of looks like that when you do that. Because of like the high pitch thing. It's like you're getting higher. And then and the flowers, the crystals explode like flowers. Yeah. They can, I mean,
it's a subtext.
I wonder if they will just straight up present like a new like UI interface for that for the skill tree this time around, or if they're going to use the same, because a lot of DLC sometimes takes more risk and tries out something a little bit different. So I'd be curious to see if they go a little bit more, they take a little bit more of a risk.
That's kind of what I sort of want them, and especially since they know they're doing 2, like maybe the Sid one just feels like it's Clive, but you're playing as Sid, whatever. And then there's one that's just weird. where they do like some crazy other
Let's get
thing.
weird.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
I think that'd be neat.
too, if we do some deep history thing,
Right.
That like,
but then
it
like
could
change
play
the
very
gameplay
differently.
too. Yeah. I think that'd be neat.
I'm hoping they had a mini game because it was really lacking in the main game. You know, no Fort Condor, no Blitzball, no nothing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
hook me up with a mini game, please.
Yeah.
Chocobo Racing.
Chocobo racing, yeah, something along those
Triple
lines.
Triad. Just bring it back.
Bring it back.
Just do Triple Triad.
Bring it all back.
I personally hope they. So there is
Fort Triad.
Fort Triad. Yes.
Wow.
Mix them.
Perfect.
Triple Condor.
Oh.
Triple Fort Triad. Or
There you go.
yeah.
There is a song on the first trailer. Was it Awakening? There's one of the songs they use in it that's not in the main game, and it's on the official soundtrack.
Whoa.
And it is like not.
He's smoothing
Yeah.
it, dude.
Well, there's the one where there's the one in a later trailer where they have like the lyrics are like the names of the icons essentially.
Right.
But this is different. This is like in the first trailer. There's one part where just like when it builds up after like the Ifrit scene or whatever, and then it like starts getting into like all like the title cards. It's like, oh, this song is awesome and epic, and it's not in the game anywhere. So I'm hoping they use it in like as a theme song for one of the DLCs because I was like expecting it to be in the soundtrack. It's like 2020 trailer or something, blah blah blah, and it's not in. I'm like, yo, where's this song? It's so good. I want to hear it again.
Save
That
it
is-
up.
Yeah, it's interesting they didn't put it in the soundtrack. I don't think it's that unusual for somebody to write for a trailer.
No,
that
for
early,
sure. But even like with like Nintendo with Zelda, they gave us the 2017 Breath of the Wild trailer music in the official soundtrack. I was like, thank you, very nice of you. They even did a
generous.
remix of it for Smash Brothers Ultimate.
That's sick.
They knew how good it was.
Yo, best soundtrack of all time, Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Right.
I will
Got it all.
It's
Got it
cheating.
all.
That's cheating.
I will say for the soundtrack though, there were a few other composers besides Soken who contributed to this soundtrack.
Oh, of course, it's huge.
And they were in a feature. They're two younger guys who have been working alongside Soken, and I'm hoping they're kind of like, to me, they've been working on a few games, but like they're kind of like the next generation, like in 10, 15 years, like they're the ones who are going to need to like step up and like get their own projects and leave their mark. And it would be really cool to see them maybe get like a crack at each of the DLCs, like maybe
That's
a
what
track or
happened
two
to-
contributed by Soken, but majority done by kind of the his proteges, I guess. I'm not really sure if they're his proteges, but like they have been always kind of like working alongside him in 14 and in 16 now. So it's like, yo, this is gonna be cool.
It's like John Johannes, dude, at Tango. He started with some Evil Within DLC.
right.
Oh
Then Evil Within 2 and Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
Starting with that
Get their
DLC.
names real quick while you keep talking. Sorry.
Well, speaking of the music, though, 11 songs from Final Fantasy XVI are going to be coming as a DLC.
Dude, yes, I'm
to,
so excited.
Theater of the final bar line in November.
yes,
That fucking game.
yeah. Taka.
You will understand this comment in a few weeks when you see it yourself.
One of the songs that's coming there is from one of these composers.
Sorry. Never mind.
Takafumi
Forget
Imamura
I
is
said
one of
anything.
those composers, and they did Hideaway.
Oh, nice, yes.
Yeah, and they did like Sid's theme
Who
as
did
well.
Lovely, Dark and Deep? That's my number one song.
That's Soken.
Best song
That's
ever.
Soken.
Best song ever. Best song ever. Goatee
yeah.
song. Goatee song.
But I saw the list of the 11 songs, and it's like very good choices. And then obviously Titan Lost was in there. So like,
Who does the prelude? Because it honestly has become maybe my
so
favorite
Prelude is always officially credited
Yeah,
to
of course.
Uematsu,
Yeah.
but
This fucking arrangement is so good.
so yeah, like they use it multiple times. Like they
Yeah.
have like
Yeah, it's in
the
there
dramatic
throughout.
version, but like the crystal theme when something happens, and it's like more like angelic sounding.
yeah.
It's like they do really good things with that, and I was very impressed. But like they always credit Uematsu for that as much as possible. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's interesting. I saw some composers criticizing, I don't know if it was Zelda or something else, for not crediting original composers.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But moving on to Zelda.
Oh, sorry, real quick.
Oh, yeah.
He's not
it's
done.
Daiki Ishikawa was the other one.
Got
they
it, got
did there's someone named Justin Frieden who's also credited on a few songs. I'm sorry, I'm not as familiar with them. So while you're doing this, I want to look them up because I have no idea who this person is. I was like, whoa, what?
For sure.
But yeah, Zelda is.
Yeah, so we got a quote
Yeah.
from interview with Famitsu, and it sounds like Tears of the Kingdom is not going to get any major DLC. But like I said earlier, they also kind of like the end of this quote is weird. So
They're already on that Switch 2 tech.
It's just tricky when like you're dealing with like these translated interviews like this, and there's like I looked through like 3 different translations to try to see if I could make more sense of it. But anyways, the main quote from Onuma, we have no plans to release additional content this time, but that is because we feel like we have done all we can to create play in that world. But then later on, this time the reason we decided to make a sequel to the previous game in the first place was because we thought it would be worth experiencing new ways to play in Hyrule. If such reasons arise, then we may return to the same world.
Okay.
Whether it is a sequel or a new work, I think will be a completely new way to play, so I hope you will look forward to it.
So if he wakes from a fever dream, coming up with some crazy new God hand thing,
Then
be
maybe
like,
there
"Ah!"
will be a DLC.
Yeah.
But it sounds more like if, it will be another sequel in the same Hyrule, which seems even more bonkers.
I am at the point where like no more of that Hyrule.
Right.
I cannot do another game in that Hyrule. Like, they need to make a new world. I don't care how long it takes. Like, please
The
give me a new
drive for
environment.
exploration was lessened for me in this one.
I think like adding the density, adding the ultra hand mechanics, and creating
Ultra hand, that's what it was.
making creating your new constructions, the robots, airships, whatever you were creating and stuff, like vehicles. That was like what kind of saved it. Plus like the sky and the depths. It's like, all right, they added a lot to this world. I mean, they theoretically could, but I think I will personally just be unsatisfied, a little and disappointed. I want to feel a complete sense of newness to everything. I want
Feels like a similar boat that like Assassin's Creed was in. Just like, you have the huge Origins and Odyssey, and it's like, give me something a little different this time now.
I was like, I know the general layout of Hyrule from the first game, so like there's not a lot of like there's still some like the caves. They added caves and stuff, like some things change and like that was new, but in terms of like getting a feel for the land, that doesn't exist. And I think it was obviously it's purposely done because they're adding so much other stuff that you need to dive into that can't be the focus anymore. So some of that like mystique of how the world looks and like what's over that hill and like the fact that you can like just so quickly in the game like go up in the sky and just like glide down to anywhere. It's like you can just see everything. Like there is no mystery, there is no mystique. So I kind of want another land for them, whether it's Hyrule or something else.
The sense of exploration was definitely different in Tears of the Kingdom than it was on a whole fresh new Hyrule. Yeah, for sure.
But I think it makes sense that they're not making DLC for this. This game had like insane amount of stuff in it, and
make your own DLC with Ultra Hand.
I also think like the first game, the DLC. I mean, the Champions DLC, because again, feedback. Fans said they wanted more of the champions, and they were like, "Oh yeah, well let's do that. Let's give them a story-based DLC that's around that." This time around in Tears of the Kingdom, you do get of the current champions, you do get to spend quite a bit of time with them. So I think there's not really an incentive. Like we don't really need DLC that involves that, so they kind of like check that box pretty nicely.
Also, like the master challenges and the motorcycle and all that stuff. It felt underbaked sounds too harsh, but like
it didn't feel necessary.
It didn't feel necessary. Yeah. And also getting a reward.
Even the Champions DLC, like I did it right before Tears of the Kingdom.
When you've already 100%ed it, when you get a motorcycle, you're like, cool, this would have been sick if I got it 60% of the way through the game.
Right.
Yeah.
But now I don't need it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And now you can craft any kind of vehicle pretty much.
Make
and I mean they have a finite distance, but like they can go pretty far.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Like a lot of like the challenge aspect of some of the previous DLC already is like integrated in some kind of form in the optional stuff you can do in Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, it's not just like the battle shrines, but I mean, there's a lot of like activities you can do that are like just straight up like this is a giant puzzle maze environment, and it's like how do you figure this out? Or there's an area where you have to fight a lot of enemies, and it's kind of that's kind of the challenge. So they kind of worked it into the main quest or side quest lines at the very least. So there doesn't feel like there's a urgent need for any kind of content that scratches that itch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you got to be pretty dedicated to have even done everything.
Yeah.
In that game at this point, like it's so there's just so much there, like you're saying, with the density of it all this time around.
Exactly.
To where it's like, that's why like when you're saying it's like it's different the way the exploration is, because it's like in some ways it's like I agree with you, but in some ways I don't, because it's just like okay, I don't necessarily need to go to that place in a way, but then I get completely lost into like this goes under there and around like it's all just like plays with your head in like pretty good ways.
You know what I would love to see though, as just like a minor free update for Tears of the Kingdom is just more. Some people might consider this a minor spoiler. I'll be vague. There's a thing you can do near Terrytown where you can spend money and build a thing. More robust stuff for that I think would be really nice, just to like make it a little more fleshed out and cozy and interactive maybe.
Sure.
But I mean, like, not a big deal. And if they did do that, I would want that to be free.
Yeah.
Or like $2.
But that's one of the things too. Like some of those things that they had added as DLC in Breath of the Wild, it's like they just put it in this game. You know, like the thing where it draws your path around the map and all that.
Right.
You don't have to pay for it this time.
Hero's Path, yeah.
Hero's Path.
Or Champions, or whatever
Penitent Man must
Path of
pass.
Hero.
But
the Penitent Man must pass.
The
Penitent Man
the things I'd want them to do, I'd rather just like have a brand new game around. I just don't want like an individual. Like, here's a DLC where there's a new dungeon. I'm like, nah, I want you to just make a new game and try again.
I want like an Iki Island.
Like, take another crack at the dungeons again. Like, it's not just one dungeon that's gonna fix my impression of your dungeons in this game. Like, you need to like try again, like outright. I mean, you can make a really cool. Well, if you make a really good one-off dungeon that satisfies what I want, I'm like, well, now I want a whole game about this. So it's like, either way, it's gonna leave me like wanting like a brand new game about
like
that,
like Bowser's Fury kind of thing, right?
Or adding like new items, like just save that for a new game. Like, we don't need a DLC.
And I think that's where the back and forth of this quote kind of lies. Like, he pretty much says, "No, we're done. Like we've exhausted everything we can do with this world. We're done. But you never know, just in case."
Yeah,
it's kind of like an investor
Bowser's
briefing
Fury
kind of
came out how many years later?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Right? Yeah.
But I mean, like, obviously, I think the next mainline Zelda on the Switch 2, tra-la-la, whatever, will obviously, I think, for sales purposes, need to be similar enough in DNA to this that the now wider audience gets what they're expecting. Like, it'll be open world, it'll be something. But what I love about these is that you don't know what to expect. Like, I didn't see Ultra Hand and all this building stuff coming at all.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I figured they would shake stuff up, but I didn't see them taking bombs away and all that stuff. Like, so for me, I'm just kind of thrilled to see what they do for the next one, what kooky new stuff in the similar DNA, but how wild and nuts the next one will be.
I do believe it was Anuma or Fujibayashi did say that like the system implemented in Tears of the Kingdom in terms of being able to build stuff will be the focus of the next Zelda.
Oh, okay.
But like, and not just, I mean, they made it sound like it was future of Zelda, not just a single game, but like that type of like freedom, you know. And they've committed to like open air Zelda is what they call it, because they won't call it open world for whatever weird reason. But
I want to compete with GTA.
Open world Zelda is like here to stay. They made that pretty clear after Breath of the Wild, and until one of these games like fails to break, like, I think the metric is just gonna. I mean, they probably have a new metric, but
break like a Switch.
I was gonna say, like, as long as they like keep continuously outselling any of the older style of Zeldas, there's like no reason to ever go back to
unless
making
one
the
sells
main
less
line.
than Twilight Princess, they're not doing that
it's like,
anymore. Yeah,
I would say like, if anyone fails to break like 10 million, it's like, all right, maybe we know there's a higher like sales target we can meet. Maybe it's time to change formulas up again. I mean, there'll be a point where it's like, all right, this is tired and boring. It's time for them to change the Zelda formula again. You know,
but I mean,
we're
I
not
think
quite there yet.
What would be interesting though is like, I think they could have their cake and eat it too, where like if they put out not necessarily another 2D Zelda, like top-down Zelda or whatever, but like if they did put out a smaller side story thing that was more akin to OG, like Zelda dungeon experience, that kind of stuff, I think that would be a really cool way for them to kind of do both.
Yeah.
Where there's like a smaller one.
Link Between Worlds style?
Yeah, like Link Between Worlds.
Ago.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Link Between Worlds.
Or Link's Awakening remake,
The remake
yeah, that was a long time
like
ago.
10 issue. Like, it was 2013 or 14.
Link Between Worlds, the 3DS one.
I meant Link's Awakening. Sorry.
Oh,
that's
Link's Awakening.
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Link
2019.
Between Worlds was on 3DS.
Yeah,
That's
Link's
still
Awakening.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
But either one of those are perfect examples.
But no,
of what you're talking about.
you're right. I mean, a lot of people have been asking, like, could they maybe Nintendo just like fully control Grezzo to be like, can you just like, you know, buy like out? They don't own them, right? Outright buy them and be like, you are now like a Zelda team. You will be
What
working
team
on
is
like
that?
classic. Grezzo did Link's Awakening.
Oh, okay.
And then they did the Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask 3D ports. They've done other original games, but they have been tied to the Zelda series for a few
Yeah.
years now, working on classic iterations, like either remasters, enhanced ports.
I really like that Link's
yeah.
Awakening.
So they could just keep
Personally.
doing that,
Sick.
like have a team that's developed. I mean, I'd love it. I mean, it doesn't have to be Grezzo, but they definitely proven themselves. But like, they could just do like, hey, make an original Zelda in the style of these older
Yeah.
ones. Like,
Yeah.
take that template and we'll let you, like, because if they're not satisfied, like, we don't want to just be a remaster port team. Like, okay, what if we tell you you
Right.
can make an original 3D Zelda, but it's got to be an older style, not the open world style, and see how. There's been some demand for that for sure. I think it would be smart. It's the biggest franchises. They either are GTA and like have a release every like 10 years or something, which could just be Zelda, but Zelda has a lot of other games and other releases. I think it's smarter for them to pursue something like what Call of Duty does, where they have multiple studios working on multiple iterations. Obviously, don't want to.
Well, or Mario. Like the
Yeah.
precedent is already set. Like it's just a given that there are 3D and 2D Marios. Why not do big open air Zeldas and like more traditional, whether or not they're top down or 2D or whatever, but like smaller, more dungeon puzzle based
Exactly.
Zeldas,
Yeah,
like
sorry.
3D, 2D Zeldas, like
Yeah.
do the same thing.
Everybody wins.
They sort of do with the ports if you count those, but like
That's the
fresh
thing.
Yeah,
new.
I mean, but they've also did the crazy Four Swords and
right.
you know, and they had
Which were-
the Minish Cap and all of that. So.
Yeah, just keep doing that, I guess, is my point.
Yeah, and it would. I think it would be very helpful because they could mix in a port every now and then because they haven't done all of them.
Yeah.
Take in the do this new like classical style of Zelda and fill in the gap in the years between these big releases because it's going to be 5-6 years probably between these types of Zeldas like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. I don't expect the next one until like 2027 at the earliest.
Yeah, because how it was 4 between Breath of the Wild and this 5?
6 years.
Oh, boy.
6 years, but I mean, you get-
17?
we don't know how much like COVID
yeah,
impacted
yeah,
it,
yeah,
yeah.
but I think it's safe to say like probably
I
at
forgot
least
about
4,
2020.
minimum 4 years,
Seriously.
3-4 years.
Time is
and that
crazy.
was, you know, taking an already existing world and like adding a lot to it.
Right,
But
right.
now if they have to make a whole brand new world as well,
But
it's-
if they're reusing the Ultra Hand system, like it's kind of it's a push and pull where it's like if we're keeping all the systems, then we don't spend the time there and we just do a new world.
Sure.
So it's like,
but we didn't think of that about
Right,
now
right,
we know
right.
better. But they could also be adding something crazy on top of
But
all
also
that too,
let it
so,
cook.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
No rush.
I trust that team
Yeah.
to make a good game.
Yeah, a 30 million copies, 30 million unit seller, like every 5-6 years is like.
Hopefully it takes
Yeah.
5 years so I can catch up on my 2023 backlog.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's going to take 5 years just to get through
Yeah.
October.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I do expect we'll get Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom enhanced editions for Switch 2. So,
Oh, 100%.
Do you
so I don't know about
do you
DLC,
think-
but yeah,
I guarantee that they box
Guarantee.
them. They box them as a thing, but it costs the same as just buying them individually. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. They love doing that.
$70 each or
Yeah, or $140.
$39.99.
Yeah, yeah.
Breath of the Wild will be $70 now.
It's
on
so
it.
Yeah.
funny to
Yeah.
me. Oh yeah,
Because
if
it wasn't
comes out
originally
here,
70.
Yeah, it'll
and
be
the Switch
70
2
now.
version will absolutely be
Yeah.
$70.
The new 4K, the new 8K Switch 2 version.
When this happens,
When they put out
I'm going
a
to lock
bundle
eyes with you.
for the same price as just buying
Or
them both.
Oh my God.
you can subscribe to our premium Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack service, and we'll give you a upgrade path for you.
Right, yeah.
Those are the only two ways you're going to be able to do it. Pay
Yeah.
up this way or pay up that way.
Well,
no
and
$10 path.
And they'll be like, well, the Breath of the Wild contains the DLCs, so you're
yeah, they
saving
will
money.
definitely do that.
Yeah.
They'll definitely say that.
Nintendo.
All right, moving on, or maybe not moving on. E3, shambling along here.
E3, put it out of its
dude.
misery.
Yeah.
Take it out back, old Yeller the son of a bitch,
God.
dude. What the hell?
So we got an announcement, a statement today
Like, be more desperate, E3.
that says
Good
that
lord.
ESA and ReedPop have parted ways.
Good job, Repop. Get the hell out of
Yeah,
Dodge.
get out.
You made it.
Yeah,
I mean, they didn't get to make it, but
I
whatever.
mean, you
Yeah.
made it out. You made
Yeah,
it out
so-
alive.
If you're not familiar with that deal,
Survive the Walking Dead E3.
ReedPop was planning was partnered with the ESA to reinvent and reintroduce E3.
And they're the people who do PAX.
They're the ones that do PAX.
So,
they
like,
do Comic-Con, right?
Right,
Yeah.
like they
Yeah.
do this well.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
But
last
the
one.
ESA can't even let someone who does it well do it well.
Didn't
or
they only?
something?
Didn't they only give them a few months? Right?
Yeah,
Didn't
it was
Repop come
Slapshot.
on like less than 6 months before E3 was started?
someone- Yeah.
No,
How
not,
much
it
do we
wasn't
really
Someone
that
did
know?
resign
quick,
from it though.
But
It seemed like a shit show, though.
I remember it being very quick.
yeah, things
heard
did
about
not
it
have their
quick,
ducks in a row early enough. But Repop was definitely more than 6 months
Yeah.
that they were in there.
I don't know who fucked it up, but somebody.
Yeah.
did.
Someone made a
So
mistake.
so anyway, so this multi-year partnership has been annulled. Is not happening.
Annulled.
Sound like a bad wedding.
They did not consummate the marriage
One
with
of them.
E3 2023.
God,
So they annulled it.
insanity.
If there is an E3 in 2024, it won't be at the LA Convention Center.
Okay. They've been trying to slough that
Because we've
yoke
heard
for
that
years.
before.
Yeah.
yeah, that
That
yeah.
LACC would not have an E3 in 2024.
Yeah, there was it was not on their thing. That's how we like found out about this stuff. I mean,
Right, that's how we found out.
Also-
Like, this seems like it's probably
yeah,
canceled.
and also like there's always been like for like, years now. There's just been like whispers about how people are just are just unhappy in general with the LA Convention Center because of its like aging amenities that they're just
It
better
ain't
venues.
great. Yeah, it ain't
It was
great.
cool in Demolition Man, right? It's in
Yeah,
The
I
fact
mean,
that
in the
it's been
90s,
around
yeah,
since
in the 90s,
Demolition
in its
Man.
heyday,
Yeah.
and like Face Off too
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
beginning.
Face
Off, dude.
there
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
LA Convention Center front, iconic 90s movie shooting spot.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is it in Rush Hour also?
Yes, it is. That's Rush Hour 2.
Yeah, when the bomb. Yeah.
Yep. And doesn't like don't Professor X and Magneto have a conversation like
Probably.
up there?
There's
Yeah.
a ton of
Yeah.
movies that like have it
It's a
like
cool facade.
as an airport or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was Rush Hour 1. Yeah, it was the
was Rush Hour 1.
The museum stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Because there's that like gala event.
Yeah.
There's
Yep.
a funny Chris Tucker quote from in there that I remember.
Yes.
But I guess I won't say.
Yeah.
Because
But
it'll
anyways.
upset Bloodworth.
ESA is planning a complete reinvention of the show
They've
for
said this
2025
4 times.
again.
Yeah, they've said that at least 6 times before.
Has the ESA lost money these last couple of years? Are they hemorrhaging money at all?
Probably.
How does
I
ESA
don't
make
know.
money? Do we
I mean,
know?
they have
membership
dues
People-
from every publisher.
People have to
But-
pay them to rate their games,
Yeah.
right?
Well, the SIV
yeah.
dues
I
are
actually
part of it, but
don't know if they're losing money from not doing E3
Okay.
because if you're like unless they're like on the hook for a lot of money for like contracts already, because obviously they have to get reimbursed by charging the members who attend the fees to
Right.
participate, but it's not happening. And they're not paying any. Like I don't know how much of a loss that really
I mean,
is.
that's my main question
Yeah.
too, because it's like, why do they keep beating this horse? It's dead. Like, does the ESA? Yeah, like, are they not making any money elsewhere? Because I'm like, why do you keep coming
Yeah.
back to this
What is
well
going on?
that has
Yeah.
run dry already?
Yeah.
Like, just stop. Just stop.
Unless it was just-
It's
yeah.
been replaced already.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like Summer Games
whole industry.
has replaced it.
immediately after this broke, like Jeff posted, like,
Oh, yeah.
Summer
Every
Game Fest
next
is
year.
back June 2024.
Like,
Right. I swear to God, he waits.
He has an alert, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
It's just
the-
like
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is that like 2025 they have some way of being able to hold it in a different location, and
Like
that's
Vegas or
like that's something where like publishers have been demanding like we only play ball with you if you give us a different location and maybe different date, like or like different time of
Yeah.
the year.
It's not a
And
great time of year for
So maybe
publishers.
they're like if they're taking that stuff seriously, and that's on the table. That's a big if, because if they don't get like the major publishers back to this, there's like no point to
There's no
this.
point to do it.
If they can't get at least 2 of the big 3, like I think they need all 3. But like honestly, if they can get 2 of the 3, Nintendo, Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony, like whoever,
I don't
can
think
show up.
Nintendo's coming back.
So
I
that's
don't
the thing.
think Sony's coming back.
The thing to point out is like, yeah, we just had PAX West happen where Nintendo did Nintendo Live,
Yeah.
which essentially had their E3 style booths at their event there, like the cool elaborate setups with all the cool photo ops. Previously unplayable game that's unreleased in Super Mario Brothers Wonder was
Yeah.
playable there.
Yeah.
They had
To
like
the public.
They had concerts. Yeah, it was basically
E3 light.
E3. They just didn't have any other like big unannounced games to like have playable there. And
At an
They had a
event,
Treehouse live.
right?
Yeah.
At an event run by Reed Pop.
yeah, and it's like it's in this time frame, this like
That's
end of
funny.
August,
Yeah.
like this August to September window. It seems to be where Nintendo likes to do. They like the beginning of the year,
Yeah.
and this window.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Maybe E3 could fill like January, like because there's so many conventions.
CES is that month, so
Well,
I
right.
wonder if that would
Yeah, I
be
don't
any
think
of an
it
issue.
is.
Or not January, but like earlier in the year or way later in the year. Because like this part it's like June is like too early. June, July seems too early for most companies, and then everything else is in August and September.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, like that seems like a good time. The earlier time would be better because, as you said, like August, September, there's already a lot going on in those months. We already have.
Yeah, and like how many games come out in March?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it'd
you
be
could
fun
have
if you had
demos
it
for the new
early,
FromSoft game. You could have in June or February,
And- and
July or
then- and you could
February,
market it-
January or February.
You could market it too as like, hey, here's the year ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
like
the
here's
whole
what is
show
to come.
vibe
Yeah.
changes instead of like, games of the future. Like we're gonna see these games
Right.
sometime.
If Keeley have that cornered with
I was gonna say,
the Game Awards.
what if,
Keely has
what
that
if the
corner.
ESA starts taking aim at the Game Awards? Like
Right.
we're doing December. We're gonna,
like,
we're gonna
that's-
knock you off, Keely.
That's what's so funny about this, and especially Nintendo doing E3 at PAX, at Reed Pop event. Like, everyone has taken the parts of E3 that worked, and they're doing them elsewhere, often better. And so it's like,
We don't have a really good equivalent of a Sony conference, though.
right?
That's
yes,
one thing.
That's
We don't
the
have
one
the
thing
play-
that's
yeah, we don't
like
have
the Sony
PlayStation experience
Xbox,
anymore, right?
The Sony
like
unicorn.
big, huge, like this is our presser. Like that's the only thing that's like missing. But they've shown no interest in doing that the last few years. So it's like. It's like the corpse has been metered out. The vultures have eaten the parts they
The
wanted.
zombies have taken limbs for themselves.
Yeah, and like, I just don't understand what they see to gain.
Does Microsoft still have the big presence in Washington? Did they all move out of there? I forget.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah, they're still like.
So like I could see like Seattle becoming like a good venue point
Seattle
for
would be-
Microsoft and Nintendo. It's Nintendo's backyard there too.
Yeah.
Since they consolidate everything back to Washington State.
But that's why PAX West gets. it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think they like that because it's like it's a local, relatively local event for them. So it's like easier maybe to control, easier for the logistics. I could see like Microsoft like piggybacking on that as well, and like we like this. We already do our other events, but what if we did like a big like public facing, fan focused experience as well? And then this leaves like PlayStation, Sony to like would they ever bring back PlayStation experience and. Would it have to be like LA based, or would they actually try and get in around that? I mean, I personally thought that like if E3 was just gonna like die, but we need another thing, like because I don't think SGF is ever gonna become like E3 or even like go in like the public facing direction.
Yeah.
But if we still need that consumer oriented event that like gets people excited and like it's kind of more the lightning
But,
rod,
like-
a PAX is probably
But
like
that's
the best
PAX.
option.
That's
yeah.
PAX here. That's Gamescom in Europe, and then GDC has the business side meetings. Like if GDC got a little more mainstream, maybe like that covers the like OG reasons for E3, like to be more like, if that sucks up some of the marketing like meetings and stuff like that, like other things are already doing it. Like the truth of it might just be we don't need E3.
I mean, I don't think it really has as strong of a reason
Yeah,
as it used
yeah.
to.
It is a redundancy.
Yeah.
It's a redundancy.
It's just like I would personally like to see some of like that spectacle still be
Yeah.
preserved, but like as we've been saying, it is, and it could be like Nintendo did Nintendo Live, and if they keep doing that every year, that is literally going to be like the substitute for that. Who knows
Yeah.
if they like maybe put more games into it next time? Like there were obviously a lot of release games there.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that you do get the difference between something like a PAX versus E3 or some Game Fest is that like games that are just announced that are a year or more away, they're not going to be ready for playable public
Right,
demos.
right.
Like Mario Wonder is just like 3 months out. So
Yeah, and like speaking from the perspective of our business, like E3, the first 5 years of our business, 4 or 5 years, was our tent pole of the year. Like it was our time of biggest numbers, our time of biggest like new eyes,
Industry hype.
and it was all condensed into a 5-day like
yeah, you could take a week
Madhouse.
off and get all the big stuff. Yeah,
right, and like that. It was important for our business model, kind of in that regard, where it was like, this is when we bring in new viewers, this is how people hear about us, that kind of stuff, and it was condensed into one thing. Now that everything is so scattershot, you know, we still react to Gamescom, we still react to everything, and we do get good numbers, and that's great, but it's spread out, and so it's just such a different beast, even from like people like our thing in our field, where it's like we're reacting.
Well, and you even have to like make these decisions about like, is this worth covering?
Like,
or
should
not?
we go to Nintendo Live? Like, turns out, sure, we probably should have, but like we didn't know.
Right. Or like you
it
know,
looked like a fan
anytime
thing
a
at
future
first.
game show pops up,
Right.
it's like, okay, is this going to be boring or is this going to be interesting?
Have
we
6
don't
amazing
know. It's
announcements.
a dice roll.
Yeah, and it's like we just don't know. Whereas like E3, everything was just like be there for all of it because it's gonna be sick.
Yeah.
But that was the thing is like that was never the ESA. Like nothing the ESA was doing besides renting a building
They're like
and
the mafia,
overcharging
dude.
people. Yeah, it really
They're the mob. They're
like,
just collecting like debt collectors.
right. Like they're charging protection
Yeah,
money from people
exactly.
who have actually good products.
It's a straight up racket.
And like it just happened to be because no one thought to do it for themselves that they busheled it together in one place. But it's like that's gone now. So yeah, it's just like don't do it. Don't I don't know. I can't see this working. And
When
like
you,
whatever their new vision is,
yeah.
like their last new vision involved like getting celebrities on stage, and it's like that's not what we're here for.
When you said about Seattle and stuff, I was just thinking like the change of venue is kind of like I feel like their last card to play to really get devs on board. Like they should be going to Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo and being like, where would you go? Where do you want it? Like, tell us your demands and we'll do it. Because it feels like they pretty much need to adhere to the guidelines, to the demands, or no one's going to play ball. They're like, they have their
That's why
back against the wall.
The ESA just seems like there's a lot of ego going on to me.
Yeah,
like it
it's just
seems
like-
like they think that they can make demands.
Yeah.
when they should be groveling.
They should be groveling, 100%. Like, oh, Nintendo, where do you want it to be?
That's
Seattle,
Right,
cool.
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
we will host it there.
That's true. The only thing I could see is that the three are asking for demands that are incompatible with the others.
Right.
That there is no
Sony wants it
blanket
in
thing that
Vegas.
appeases
Yeah.
all three, and it's like they can't get them to agree on like can we get you to agree on a certain base set of points? And they're like, no, we don't want this. Like maybe Sony's like, we do not want any kind of consumer facing part of this.
Right.
Like it needs to be industry only. We want like to network with our industry partners, and we need like if you could provide that again for us, and like we can like we do our conferences and stuff, and that's our forward-facing message. But like, we don't want the public showing up here. Like, that's not what we don't like. We want people who understand that our demos are like, you know, the context of them. Like, we don't want that bad publicity, possibly. Whereas maybe Nintendo and Microsoft are like, I mean, it's picking names here, but Nintendo said,
right.
we're cool on that. Microsoft's like, we want it only to be public. Like, stop. Like, we don't want anything to have to be behind closed doors. We want everything to be public and stuff. If you participate here, I don't know. It could be any key number of factors there, and that could be a wrinkle. But I'm in agreement with you. And I said before, like, they should have been like just being like, whatever you want, we will, whatever is reasonably possible within our means, we will try and make it happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, venue can help. Like, I mean, local thing could be helpful, but like a good destination for just like the international community, like something like maybe Vegas, like developers would rather travel there because it's like we have infinite amount of convention space there. So like you could have multiple venues, and like they have like a monorail system that takes you between all like the major points there. I mean, it's a lot of like casinos and like, you know, entertainment. So like devs would like have stuff to do in the lead up and maybe afterwards to unwind. Like, I don't know, like something like that could be a factor where it's like, a lot of people do want to go there, so like they would be like, that's like a big starting point. Like, get us to a place that we all want to go to.
A lot of people do hate LA.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
I don't think people are
like
too pleased to come to LA.
I think like we were saying it for a long time, where it's like Nintendo, I think, was ahead of the curve when they swapped to direct style stuff, because it's like, what makes more sense, right? Spending $200,000 on a stage presentation and another $200,000 on a big, huge booth and floor space at E3, whatever, or spending like $15,000 on a direct and just putting demos on the eShop that you already own, and like that.
But Nintendo was always
know.
committed to E3 as long as there was an E3. Like they never wanted to back out.
Well, right, but
They
or
appreciated it.
Sony, like whoever, like doing states of play, like whatever. The point is like they can like the world now, because of the internet and because of all that stuff, is so decentralized, and people have their favorite streamer and their favorite content provider and stuff. And so, like, is it better for Sony to give, or like Lies of P or whatever, like anything, any game, any company, whoever, to just give a demo to someone who will get 1 million views on YouTube, or to put together a whole live presentation that 100,000 people will watch on Twitch, maybe if it's an E3, or 20,000 if it's a state of play, and like, what's better and easier and cheaper for them? And I honestly think the decentralized version of that is better for them.
It's
So,
really,
like, I don't think they need this anymore.
It's really
and, like, I
interesting.
think they just need to let it move on.
You know who I feel like needs it though? When you say that, is Ubisoft. I feel like Ubisoft benefited from the E3
I think
hype.
all the smaller companies are who benefited.
Yeah.
Because basically, like, the Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo are who got people to watch, and then everyone else were the lampreys on the whale.
Yeah.
Like, that got lifted up. Like, how many times over the years, I can't think of examples, but there are so many. Like, how many times over the years did we see a game we would have otherwise never heard of because it was couched into a presentation at E3? And,
Right.
like,
But on the
that's
other
thing
side of that,
sucks.
though, it's like how many of Sony's press conferences were huge press conferences because they had a Resident Evil or a
Right.
Final Fantasy or something like that in them.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and yeah, like I think it works both ways.
Because I was just thinking
And
about Ubisoft's like really bad. They have like bad directs. You know?
do.
Oh,
They
yeah.
do. They have bad
Oh,
directs.
they-
What,
yeah.
Ubisoft
And like at
Forward?
E3,
Their
just
live
the-
presentation is way better than anything they pre-recorded.
And like E3,
And it still wasn't that great.
E3 they would get like kind of made fun of sometimes, but it's like their optics were still like big. Ubisoft, huge pillar, and I feel just like they're not, like, obviously they've had a lot of like controversies over the years, but I feel just like their whole stock has gone down, and I wonder how much of that has to do with not having E3. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that is a big part of it because again, like everybody can just focus. It's like this is the time to show up,
Yeah.
and then everybody wants to see what everybody's got. And
Yeah.
the more you spread it out, it's like Sony can have its own like this Spider-Man trailer here, this Horizon trailer over there, or whatever, but I still don't know that they get quite as many eyes on it as when everybody's just going to tune in for whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bad side of that double-edged sword, though, is then you have like your Capcoms, your Square Enixes, who are like, well, we need to have a press conference. We have to have something. It's E3, and then they show
of
nothing
those Capcom
for an hour.
ones, yeah.
Holy
But
crap!
But they didn't do that before E3 fell apart. Really.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess that's a symptom of the new regime.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I did. Yeah, part of me is like the thing I personally most want again is just like a centralized focus, like week of announcements, like
Yeah.
big announcements. Whether I don't care what time of year it is. I mean, and it can be attached to anything existing. If Keighley pulls off, like I don't care who does it. It's like I just miss that having a condensed week of announcements because I get how difficult it is to have. Well, now we expect game demos to play of those. It's like that's not always realistic. I mean, that was one of the biggest draws of E3. It's like we're announcing a bunch of stuff. Some of the stuff is going to be playable like tomorrow or in 2 days at
Yeah.
the show floor, and you get excited for that as part of the machine. But if like it's harder for devs to commit to any time, like a specific time of year for like the game demo, and it's like easier to tag those on to how many different events now happen throughout the
Right.
year. That's just like a better strategy. I would just like to have the announcements, the big announcements, consolidate a little bit again. But also, that's, each company has their own different strategies, and it's like on their own they're going to do what's best for them. So that's something I could see to be like a thing that could be filled as like someone like the ESA or Keighley, probably maybe in a better situation, but like maybe it is the ESA because everyone has to be a member and they have to like play by their rules. Like we are kind of like putting pressure on everyone like January, like there won't be
Yeah.
an in-person event to compete with anything, but in January you should get, like, we'd really strongly encourage you we're gonna have a week of events. Please participate. Do like your direct. Do your PlayStation, not the state of play, the big one,
The
showcase,
showcase.
PlayStation Showcase.
Named them separate.
Yeah, I hate
things.
So
this. Yeah.
silly.
And an Xbox, like, can you three of you do something that week and announce stuff for like the year, like, and have some big announcements, and then be like, yo, Ubisoft, Square Enix, Capcom, this is it. Like, this is the time to do it. Like get everyone to like maybe do that. And it's like even if it's not coming out to like next year, it's like that's still like the time to do it. So you like beginning of the year might be like the best time for that. Or
but you know what the issue might be there though that I was just thinking about is like perhaps what is best for the devs, like when they can get stuff out or get trailers or whatever, would not be good for the business goons and the marketing people. Like, because fiscal year ends in like March for some companies.
I like calling them business goons.
Business goons. But like, they might be at cross purposes within their own entities, right? Like, how many times have we heard of companies like devs find out the release date of their own game from a trailer and they're just like, what? We can't hit that.
Goons.
Yeah, the business goons just decided this game's ready, I guess, and it's not. Like, who knows? Like, I wonder if, like you were saying, I think there's no way to please everybody because everyone does it differently.
It's the Wild West now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I didn't even take like there's this one like press conference show. I mean, this would be Keighley. Like it's Keighley's thing because like everyone participates. It's not specific to any like publisher.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to come up with an entire show. I think that's
just
the
a
thing.
trailer.
Like, Nintendo doesn't have to come up with an entire direct. Sony doesn't have to come up with an entire showcase. Like, can you just give us one big announcement? Just one thing for the year.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna do it December or January, big announcement week or announcement day or whatever, and like just give us something, please, so that like we can have this and like an hour to 2 hour show that's filled with like big announcements for every major publisher. So they're all like bangers. It's like, dude, that was sick. And every year, can I like count on that? And it like becomes the de facto. This is where you announce like you big projects. This like can like make or break you.
And like Keighley would be thrilled. Yeah, if SGF could do that, like the all killer no filler, just announcement hour. Ugh.
Yeah, because
so
I think
sick.
that's the thing that where like you were saying this before, where like E3 is in just such a weird place, because on the one hand it's like the reason 2023 failed was because they didn't have enough time to really get it planned and put together, and so now it's almost like, okay, ReedPop doesn't want to go through this all over again. So they're actually giving enough time to like, oh, okay, it looks like maybe 2020, they'll take the time to figure out what it should be, and then 2025 will be the show. But in that time, Keighley's got another year of momentum. And it's and the thing is when you're talking about this announcements show thing, this is something that E3 didn't do before that Keighley is now doing, having this centralized show. And E3 was just essentially the guys that booked the convention space.
Right, exactly.
So it's just it's just such a weird comparison.
if Keighley locks in exclusives like you were saying, from Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, game over.
Yeah.
Game over.
That seems to be like the thing
game
that's like
over,
the
man.
hardest thing for him to crack on this is that they just don't, whether it's timing or whatever reason. That's the only thing I can think of like ESA offers is that like because these companies are all members of them, there might be something there, and their logistics.
This is the man who got Reggie and Phil and who was it, Sean Layden on the same stage at the same time for the first time ever. Like,
I think this is also a thing where it's like we don't know what the heck went on behind, if anything. The Keighley ESA split, they used to kind of be together.
They were consulting with him too about what to do.
I don't know. I know what happened there, but it's like that's another thing when we're talking about your chips on the table, like all in. It's like, all right, Keighley, what does it take to mend this bridge? If there's anything we can do to fix the situation,
grovel.
We want to make this work. And like we know, and just admit, like we need you more than we.
Tweet makes it seem like that's not happening yet.
Shots.
Well, I mean, sure, that's true, but like we don't know. I mean, it could just be a person there he doesn't like, someone higher up that's like just like.
But it also, to me, I
him.
think it comes back around to what does the ESA have to offer anybody?
Yeah,
and it's nothing. It's nothing.
That's true, but like I'd also,
to my knowledge,
I maybe just never like attempted it. Like obviously SGF, it's a big thing, but like to my knowledge, Keighley's never run a big like massive convention yet, like a giant convention center with those logistics, like needing to bring in an even bigger outside company to run all those operations. Like that is almost like a full-time job.
Oh, it's insane.
Like, he already doing a full-time job running just SGF Opening Night Live and the Games Awards. It's
but
like adding a convention onto that
Conventions
table.
do make money.
Yeah.
Like they make good money, to my knowledge.
So that's,
Unless you're the ESA.
Yeah. I guess, that's like the thing. Like, I still see a physical
they make
thing
money.
having some value. Like we see how many developers go to Twitter to lament the death of E3, saying like, well, we
Lament
no
of
longer have a good
innocence.
networking event.
Right.
And everyone goes GDC and they're like, well, that's very cost prohibitive for a lot of developers to go
GDC
to.
is overpriced, yeah.
So like E3 was their place to go to, other than like easier to go to than GDC to do that, because their whole company was already going there and they're getting a lot more bang for their buck, because it obviously had like a little bit of a wider appeal. It wasn't just a developer focused, industry event. The other thing I will say is that fan focused, public facing, fan oriented events like can be bonkers in terms of like, I don't think there's ever going to be like a shelf life on them, like for a physical in-person event. I feel like there's something huge that you can leverage, and I think
People will show up.
Yeah, like Nintendo Live you saw, having gone to like the Final Fantasy fan, like Brad and I were talking about Fan Fest, and like it's insane that like they do a 2-day event for just like one game, and like yet it's like packed the whole time. It's
Yeah.
like they could like just do a general like Square Enix like fan conference for like 2-3 days, and like it would be insane. Like if they could like kind of like add in their big announcements besides like the 14 expansion, but like show a new Rebirth trailer here instead, like show like maybe like Kingdom Hearts stuff there. Like it didn't even have to be new stuff. It's just like bringing like leverage your company. You have like the developers. You can give fans access to that. Like maybe this was something like the ESA was considering, but like it was too hard to orchestrate all these different companies. Like let's have dev panels and stuff. And it like became like a logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
But there is still value in that. Like fans want access to it. They want to like sit in a panel in person with like their icons, their idols, and like
it makes me really curious why they stopped doing PSX, because PSX was sick as hell, and like QuakeCon is still going, BlizzCon is still going, and those are more niche, and it's just like they must have seen some downside that they didn't want to keep doing
It
PSX.
seems like they're so crowded. Like just having your fans walk out there and like bump into like a Sean Layden or Jim Ryan,
Yeah.
or like the Xbox one they do where anyone like can bump into Phil Spencer, like getting those like the fans
Right.
go nuts for that. Like they're just like rock stars, as I've heard it been put before, even though like they don't sometimes feel like rock stars. But that's the thing, and like developers didn't feel that appreciation, like seeing fans cheering for you in person and like going nuts at like just the stuff like can reinvigorate a development team. So that's something I think that some companies still kind of understand, because they're still doing it for some of their IPs or their series, that I think can still be leveraged if you want to do like a physical event. And I think it still has a lot of potential there. I mean, maybe not obviously like maybe indie companies, that's like something like not as viable
Do
for
it like
them.
the Olympics,
Right.
dude,
Yeah.
every couple of years.
But that's the thing. That's where that side of things kind of fell apart with E3, where it became harder for people to just show up with a laptop and show you something.
Right.
And like grab Miyamoto and show him the game, for like 5 seconds.
It's
before
Blood's
somebody
favorite
shuts you
thing of
down.
all time, a dev showing him a game on a laptop.
Yeah.
You love it, Blood.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
We
love
played-
that.
Blood and I
Just like
played
back
SteamWorld
alley
Dig 2.
games, dude.
Right.
Sitting in a hallway, it was fucking sick.
It's the best.
yeah. We
For like an
Happy Few
hour.
was like we were sitting in a hallway. Yeah, there's a few
Yeah.
games like that. Children of Morta. Yeah.
So awesome.
Another thing that I think is an
That's so
issue
good.
potentially with old E3's format is that, I mean, it was only like 3 days. They were looking to expand it to 4 days before it got canceled. Having to have everyone, not just us, but like the actual developers and the publishers there for the prep time, the days of, and then like the having to leave, like that's a lot of time for them. Plus all the conferences and stuff ahead of time. I do like you were saying like the Olympic thing, like kind of jokingly, but what if
I'm
certain
mostly
times?
serious.
Well, what if certain times of the week were for the certain companies? Like, all right, well, we'll make this part of the week,
like summer and winter Olympics, dude. 2 years it's these people. The next 2 years it's these people.
But they all have things they need to sell every year.
Yeah, I think like that could be something that was on the table. It's like, well, maybe Nintendo stuff is only going to be there for like 2 days or whatever. Like
That
if
would
that's
suck for us because we would have to go back and forth every time.
yeah, but like if it's a choice of like this never exists again, or like we could have a format of it and like it has everyone's there again, and like it's kind of like cool. But maybe you don't want that. I don't know. But like the more I'm saying out loud, I guess like, it's probably logistically even worse. Than, like
I mean,
than
I figure
thought.
if there
Yeah.
were an easy solution, they would have fixed it by now.
I mean, part of me thinks there might be a solution. It's just it's what we've been kind of like alluding to. Like there might be something else going on behind the scenes that's the real problem.
Yeah,
here.
I
it's
think
not like
There's
a
got to be
logistic.
something.
It's,
because,
I think
like,
there are
three
big
conferences
personality-
falling apart
Yeah.
just doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I think there are like
They're the right people to do this show.
Something was said.
yeah. Somebody in the ESA is a monster.
I almost like is this too radical to propose? Can like the game companies and like developers just proposed to dissolve the ESA and create a new organization. Like, is that even a process? It's like
people could do that.
We have no faith in the ESA anymore, but we do need self-governance because that's part of the rules.
Vote of no confidence.
I mean, yeah, I guess you'd have to talk to, those CEOs or whatever, so what other things that the ESA are doing aside from the ESRB.
Yeah.
As to whether that's satisfactory.
And I need that
not.
untold Netflix documentary on this ASAP.
I need it now.
I mean,
now.
Besides ESRB, I want to know what the ESA does.
I mean, they do a lot of the legal wrangling and lobbying and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Lobbying. That's a scary
lobbying.
word.
I forgot about all the lobbying.
I mean, it's the reason they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
to represent the games industry in law and
we just have to
politics and everything
dismantle the
else.
government and then play whatever we want. No problem solved.
But like, I think it would be best if someone like that was not ESA could come up with a better replacement for that. That's why.
Well,
like,
that's why
hope Keely's
I think
thing
what
keeps
Keely's
growing.
been doing
Yeah.
is going that direction. It's just, can it maintain its strengths at scale?
Exactly.
Right.
That's a good point. And I mean, I'll be honest, like that is a concern if it ever tries to get too big again, because I don't know. I would have my doubts about handling like a public facing component again, where you allow like consumers to come to that event. Because as in its current setup, like not a chance. Like that would not work out whatsoever. Like that would you'd probably have people who just be like, we're not showing up anymore because we thought it was just like media and industry going. So like that's that conversation. Then like the logistics of having more people there. But as I said again, I think that's a big component is like allowing the public in. I know we personally don't want that. I mean, or
I
give
didn't
us
mind it.
or give us like access, like,
I want,
early access.
dude, more the merrier,
Well,
I
meant, like,
say.
for our coverage thing, like it's annoying when you're fighting.
Give me one press day and I'm chill.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
as long
I
as we
mean,
get like the press days
Again,
and stuff. Yeah.
Gamescom has all that
Gamescom
covered. It's not
figured
an
it
issue
out.
there. Yeah.
Like press day at Gamescom rips.
Yeah.
And then you can go to the public days if you want, and it's awesome.
But it's not even
Hell
just
yeah.
press day. It's like they have a whole other.
They have a whole other side
Exactly.
to it. Yeah,
If
exactly.
you can get everyone to agree to that,
Right,
if you
exactly.
get, everyone agree to that and like have that format, sure, that's the answer. Then it just becomes the logistics of like the size, the scale, the venue.
The more we talk about this, the more like if they're just a bunch of weird lobbyists and like ratings people,
Corporate
like
goons.
yeah, they're the last people I want throwing a party. It's like
Yeah.
it's like if the MPAA, like a
Yeah.
bunch of sticklers
Yep.
who won't let Matt Parker and Trey Stone, whatever, like have like crazy gross shit in the South Park movie, whatever. Like they're a bunch of nerdy losers. Like I wouldn't want them to throw like a movie party convention
Yeah.
thing like E3.
I don't-
like
yeah.
the fact that they were doing this in the first place seems weird now that I think about it. Just let everyone else do it.
Yeah.
You got your shit.
Let,
do your shit.
yeah.
Do your legal bullshit and leave us to have fun times.
Maybe-
at conferences.
Straight up.
Maybe Keely can it'd be funny. He partners up with Repop.
Yeah,
it actually goes well. It actually goes well.
It very much could.
Yeah.
Very much. You're gonna
Honestly-
need some partner at some point.
I bet you that happened. That's what I was gonna say. Is like if they eat crow and just come back to Keely and then partner and do the thing again. But I think the smarter thing is everyone just boxes out the ESA and Keely and Repop do it.
Box him out.
Box them out. They had their chance. They did it for 15 years or whatever. They're done,
Yeah,
man.
I could see them like piggybacking onto because it's like would be less confrontational with like the fall stuff would because you're saying earlier in the year, but like
Yeah.
PAX East.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's just a better East Coast venue that's a little bit more friendly for everyone.
I think Jeff likes the summer timing though, and he seems to be making it work so far on that end. So
Rest Jeff.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was there to replace E3.
Yeah.
Like he was just dancing on that grave. So
Yeah, like if
You
E3
can't call it Summer Game Fest if it happens any other time. Here, so.
join us for Summer Game
Well,
Fest
I
this
do-
February.
I do think the
Fall
branding.
Game
I think like they should be
Winter
it should be a little bit more forward thinking and come up
February
with a
Games
name
Fest.
that's like an all times name. Like
I mean, he should just call it Game Fest.
We'll see.
Jeff Keely's Game Fest.
Jeff Keely's
Jeff Keely
Game
presents.
Fest.
Sid Meier's.
IMAX presents
Hell yeah.
Jeff Keely's Game Fest.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, get a sponsor every time. It
Now
has
we're
to change
talking.
names like
I mean, it's just
like a
IMAX. His
stadium.
dad was
Yeah.
like on the board.
Yep.
All right. We got more news to come, but if you've been enjoying this show so far, please take a second to like and subscribe and ring that bell on YouTube. It helps us and it helps you stay connected. All right. Next up, we got kind of a different thing. We're tired because we went to Super Nintendo World yesterday.
Hell yeah.
Had a meetup there. Got to check it out. Got to go wander around with Mario and Peach and put our little wristbands on things.
Boy, did we.
Yeah, it was a good time. I want to talk about everyone's experiences. We had Dawn. Dawn told us about it before, and then Dawn was our guide.
Yeah.
We would have been lost without Dawn.
Totally.
I just raised up one of those 15-foot flags. You know, everyone thought we were like an international tour group. It was very cool. just carving our way through the
Just
swarm.
waving an Easy Allies flag.
Yeah.
This way.
Yeah, because the way like things ended up even ended up being different than like what was in my head. Because at first it was like, okay, well, we'll go and we'll do the stuff and we'll shoot the stuff first and then we'll hang out. But it's like, no, actually, like before we even went into the park, we started having patrons and viewers find us. And so we kind of went in together and went through the whole experience as a group.
Pretty awesome.
So every one of these things.
Mario Kart ride was crazy.
We got you praising Bowser. What do you think?
Dude, the Mario Kart ride, okay, you know me. You know I love chaotic things.
Yeah.
I love chaotic energy.
It was chaotic.
It was so chaotic, that ride.
It was so chaotic.
It is unhinged.
It was so chaotic that Huber and I both forgot to turn.
I didn't turn. There's just too much going on.
There was too much going on.
It was so nuts.
You're wearing AR
I was
goggles.
rattled by
You're
the
looking
chaos.
Around, you're shooting shells
Yeah.
and stuff. You can't tell who's
There's
a
a friendly
friendly.
fire going
who's
on.
a friendly? You'll shoot at an enemy and a friendly will pop in from the side just to take the heat. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Pure chaos.
I was in a different cart. I had the opposite thing, whereas like I was focused on like figuring out how to drive, and so I didn't realize that like, oh, I'm supposed to be shooting things right now. But so to like look
we
at
had the
things to
different
shoot them, like
Let's just focus on driving. That's so on brand.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
got
and
around
I
a couple
wasn't-
turns before I was like, oh, okay, I can shoot things now.
I
Yeah.
was so paranoid about friendly fire
Yeah.
that I wasn't shooting fast enough because I was picking my shots. So
Right.
I was like, boom, boom.
Oh yeah.
Well, you
Boom,
could also
instead
run out
of
shells
instead of
really
boom,
quick.
boom,
Yeah, you had
boom,
finite.
boom. Yeah, so I was like really taking my time, and just when it was over, I thought I did better than I did. I was like, I need another crack at this. I need
Right.
another shot.
Should have got a run back.
God, I wanted a salty run back so bad.
But we also like there's just like a lot like the thing that keeps coming in my head is it's like a kids museum or a science museum with all the other stuff that was set up around there. Because like you'd hit the blocks wherever you'd find them. They'd have the little Mario symbols like sort of
Yeah.
hidden on the wall.
Somewhat hidden, like the
Yeah.
red coins.
Yeah.
They had the little the boot from Super Mario Brothers 3 as a prop. I loved that.
The props
was
are out
really
of
nice.
control.
The props were
That
they
was-
had the Bowser Super Mario World flying device.
Oh, the clown movie.
Yeah.
Props raised some questions for us though, because like in the Mario Kart ride, for example, and other places, the scale of everything
Yeah.
was really big.
Is it to
like,
scale?
The Mario Kart outfits were huge. Like, is Mario like 2.5 times the size of
But
a
those
human?
outfits are not the ones that
helmets were
Mario
huge.
wears.
They were helmets for the characters
No.
in the waiting room.
In the waiting room.
I know which ones you're talking about. Those are the outfits you get for your Miis.
Oh.
In Mario Kart.
But like the coins were this big.
The coins were
and
huge.
Mario
yeah.
is bigger than the coins.
Right.
Like the coins are bigger than my head. So it's like that alone means Mario is 12
Do you
feet
want to get
tall.
into this?
I do want to get into this.
So there are hidden Pikmin in there as well, and
Right.
Their
They're like
size,
4 inches
They're
tall.
huge, but then in the video games, there's real worlds, and like they're smaller than
Right, they're
like
smaller than a
like,
battery.
Smaller than that?
They're proportionally they are too big in Super Nintendo World for how
So
they
it's
are
all
now.
out of
Right.
scale.
Everything
So
is
everything is buggable.
scaled up.
Yes,
Mark it down.
So it's like
No, they're
no,
scaled to each other.
But they're all scaled to each other.
but it's like
That's
we're
what's
bigger
blowing
than
my
giant
mind.
world.
That's crazy.
I think that it's like the giant.
So they
world.
just sized up everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we stepped in the
Okay.
giant world.
That's right. We went through the warp
Yeah,
pipe.
We did
yeah,
go
went
through
the
a warp
pipe.
pipe.
So it's
World
the giant
4.
world version of
Well, and also
Yeah.
the pipe was very big.
yeah.
So maybe that's the scale we're dealing with. The
Ex-
pipe is to a human body as everything else is to the pipe.
That's good. That's good.
We just gotta get into our animated forms, and then we get bigger.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
The coins were big.
Yeah, but yeah, the line queue stuff for me, it was like pretty much like the highlight, like going through, seeing all the props, seeing all the environments, hearing the music being played, just being
The music
immersed.
was on point.
Blood was saying it's not
yeah.
new music, it's new arrangements.
Yes, it is.
There
Yeah,
are definitely
Makes
some new arrangements and points.
Yeah.
Another one that I really appreciated, Huber, is when we were walking out, the pipe we walked out through,
Yeah.
the music playing was the
Yes.
credits theme from Super Mario World.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
You're getting a credits theme as you're leaving
That's
the
so
building.
I was
Smart.
so rattled by Mario Kart that I didn't process any of that. It was a sensory
I was like
overload.
hearing it and knowing it, and Blood like
God.
stopped me. He's like, it's the ending credits. I'm like, oh, it is. Yeah. I mean, like my Brian's like, yeah, that's what it is. But like the context, I'm like, oh yeah, we're leaving and they're playing. That's
Yeah.
so
That
cool.
is sick.
And because we didn't really explain the whole thing. You buy a bracelet for $40.
It's a $40 bracelet.
And-
It's
$40
not
tax.
really worth it, but it's also really
it's
worth
kind
it.
of weird.
Yeah.
Sophia and I were
You
talking about
need
this
to
where
have
it's like
it.
if you don't have it or if someone in your group doesn't have it,
yeah.
you can't engage with
Yeah.
80% of the content
Yeah.
of Super Nintendo
Yeah.
World. You can't do you can do the activities, but they're pointless, and you won't unlock keys to fight Bowser Jr.
Yeah,
at the
you also
end.
have to download an
in a
app
glorified,
and, like,
glitchy
make
Kinect
a universal
game.
account and all this stuff.
Yeah. So it's all like tricks to get you to do things.
But once you get it, well, like once you have it set up, it's actually cool
It was
because
fun.
like everyone that has the same kind of bracelet as you is on a team.
Yeah,
and
Team
like every
Peach.
hour there's like team winners and stuff like that. So I'm on Team Yoshi and we're
Yeah.
on top for a while.
Oh,
and
that's
then
cute.
Team
Yeah.
Daisy picks it up and is like, oh crap.
Team
Like-
Peach started at the top, and a few hours later we were dead last. And I was like, "Come on, Team
All
Peach!"
these like 130 something stamps to collect.
A lot.
Yeah. So if you like grinding,
But some of
Can
the
you put
things-
those stamps into your
No.
Switch or anything like that?
Well, the
'Cause I know the
bracelet,
watch is a
The bracelet
the
is an
bracelet
amiibo.
is
Yeah,
an
yeah.
amiibo.
Yeah.
But there's no other. Like,
I think it does unlock a free costume on your Switch or something when you use it
cool.
as an amiibo.
Yeah,
That's
it depends
sweet.
on the game.
For
It
Mario
works,
Kart,
It
yeah.
works
For
the
Mario
same.
sweet.
Kart, okay.
I remember you telling me that, Don. Yeah,
But-
that's sick.
Like the cool thing with having the bracelet is it literally tracks you and your performance in the park. So like if you
Big Brother is watching.
like you can knock on the blocks and you'll be like, oh, I got 6 coins from that. When you go on the Mario Kart ride, it gets as specific as like hit three boos in a row. Like it tracks you to that
Oh.
degree.
yeah, they
like
do
that kind of stuff.
It's like the sticker system from
yeah,
Super
and
Mario
you get a
3D
sticker
World.
for
Yeah.
doing that.
It's real life achievements, is what
Right,
it is.
exactly.
So wait,
You didn't buy one.
You're telling me that in a game, a co-op game, Mario Kart, the ride,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where I am relying
Yes.
on my team,
Yes.
they're off messing around
Yes.
with their own little personal achievements, hit 3 boos.
I guarantee you that no one looked at the app with that
Yeah.
degree of specificity before.
But
writing
it's a
that ride.
possibility.
If they come
It's
back,
a possibility.
Okay.
if they're
you come back.
on a
All
return
right.
trip, probably.
Because if the sticker you need to get is like hit Ludwig 15 times, they're going to be looking for Ludwig. But like
But these are all things
Yeah.
that are achievable.
they're all things you should do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway,
all right.
the funny thing to me is you get 3 gold stamps for achieving different things. So you get 1 gold stamp for racing in Mario Kart. You get 1 gold stamp for defeating Bowser Jr. And the 3rd gold stamp is get the other gold stamps.
Yeah.
So it was really, you just have to get 2 and then you get a 3rd
Yeah.
one. I assume they're future proofing for when they add DK Land and stuff where
Yeah.
it's like there are other gold stamps.
Decay
Then you get
Land?
Donkey Kong Country Land. Yeah, Donkey Kong Country. Yeah, Decay Land. Mario faces death. Mario in hospice. Yeah. But I thought that was kind of funny. That the 3rd one is just a freebie.
Well, and then the other thing
Dude,
that we
Decay
saw
Land,
before
that's
is
the
like
movie, man. It gets
there
dark.
are
Who knows?
time-based stamps, Huber. So like this stamp you can only get by arriving with,
Right.
like in this quarter of the year. So,
Yeah.
So like we're in like the fall quarter. Or, yeah, it was called fall.
It was like come after
Wow.
September 1st.
September through November
Yeah.
stamp, and then there's another
Which
one
I
for
assume is
winter and-
every year.
Yeah,
Like, yeah. So you can get them all, I assume,
Yeah.
but like they're not like year based.
But the keys and stuff though carry over. So like when we went to Bowser Jr., we spent 1 key.
Do I still
but we
have
still
my
have
key?
2 keys on our accounts.
And you only need
So
1 key?
so next
You need
well, you
3
need
to
3
fight
keys
baby,
to get into Bowser
baby-
Jr.
or Bowser
But
Jr.
next time you can just come get 1 key and then go do Bowser Jr. again.
yeah, I
I'm
still have 2
confused.
keys.
Something
You
was
need
bugging out.
3,
They
but
were
you
giving
only
us
spend
extra
1?
keys.
Yeah.
Something
weird.
was
Okay.
going
We
on
need
there.
to-
I randomly had 3 keys after we did 2 activities, so I don't know what happened there.
they get some patch notes.
I got 34 out of 131 stamps, and I got 1,596 coins. Blood got like 2,000, 3,000.
Blood was
I
grinding.
got 2152.
Grind it out.
I didn't know this. I'm annoyed, but the binoculars, which were out of service,
They were out of service.
That
were
was a
needed to zoom in on Rosalina. They get the Rosalina stamp.
That's a stamp.
Yes.
But like that's
I'm
crazy.
mad.
They track you enough that you tap your bracelet on binoculars up on the top floor of a whole secret area that you didn't have to go to, and if you zoom in on Rosalina,
That's
you
cool.
get a stamp. Like that's awesome.
That stuff is a 10 out of 10, but I'm going to say the key mini games were a 0 out of 10. If I was writing a review,
They were
they were a straight up 0.
I liked the
like janky stopwatch one. Are you kidding?
I liked so there are different mini games that you
Yeah.
do to get the keys. The two that we did were the one, or we did 3 actually. There was one with a wall of blocks that would go gold or blue, and you had to hit them to make them all one
That one's
color.
cute.
If you hit them, they changed color. I really liked that one, and it got harder the more people you had because it would be more crazy. It wasn't hard, but like whatever. And then you touch the key and you get a key. The other one was janky as hell. There was a shell
Yeah.
going back and forth on a
Yeah,
like
they
a
said
t-shirt.
somebody had busted it.
Someone hit it too
too
hard.
hard, and so it wasn't as sensitive as it was
yeah.
supposed to be.
But
So
there
then
were-
you had to like hit it with both hands. It seemed to be the only way to make it
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, there were 3 POW blocks, and you had to time it so that you bump the shell. So you hit the one POW block, and then it causes the next 2 to go, and you have to time it so a shell goes up a pipe and hits another POW block, and that's how you get the key. It was janky. The other one was you had to keep a bunch of alarm clocks from going off to prevent a piranha plant from waking up.
Yeah.
That one was, it was a lot.
That was-
We'll have a
that's
video travel log going
Yeah,
up. Dawn and I were filming on our phones most of the time we were in there, and so
I posted a bunch of photos.
we're
you
gonna
can check
edit
out
that
on my
together,
Twitter.
and so
Yeah.
you'll see that. But yeah, all in all, I enjoyed it, and like
Oh, yeah.
as par for the course with Universal Studios Hollywood, it's real small.
But it's one of those things, and some of the other areas are like this too, but it's like, it looks weird from the outside, but then once you're in it, yeah, it envelopes you so well.
Yeah.
That-
You were
yeah,
down
like-
in the depths.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I loved
Yeah,
it. It was
almost
cool.
wish
The
you didn't
experience
have
of
to
being
come
in there.
down to it.
Yeah, it was really
like
cool.
you.
That view coming down.
Yeah,
there
I
was
wish-
sick.
Yeah, but I wish like you couldn't get like that preview of it. Like you just have to like
Yeah.
walk up to the front.
So your
you
first view would be through the portal, the warp pipe. I mean,
Well, I mean, that's
how you'll probably get it in like the Florida one.
That's the fundamental difference between Universal Studios Florida leans into theming a lot more than Hollywood, a little more. But like that's it. The fundamental difference between Disney and Universal has always been Universal has the like studio backlot kind of
Yeah.
vibe, whereas Disney is like, these are themes and you are in this place. You are in Big Thunder Mountain right now. You are in Batu, And so like the fact that you can see the back of the flats when you're coming down the escalators of Mario Land, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
the mystique is,
Yeah.
They didn't go the 100%. They went the 80%. But when you're in it, it feels like 100%.
Wait, is the Star Wars Land a new
Yeah.
world, right?
What?
Two?
What?
It's Star Wars Land in Disneyland.
Galaxy's Edge?
It's like a new world, right?
In the Star Wars context or
Yeah,
in like
in the
Disneyland?
context, in the Star Wars
Yeah,
context.
it's a canon place
right?
in Star Wars.
Have
yeah.
they
It's
gone there
called
in the
Batuu.
shows yet or the movies?
I don't know. There's a character
'Cause if
that
that
lives
happens,
there
that'd be
that
cool.
like is part of the canon and
Nice.
stuff. And like Savi's workshop is part of the canon. I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I don't know if
But,
they went
yeah.
in the game. No, I don't think so.
But when you're in Super Nintendo World in Hollywood, like aside from like one skyscraper that you can see,
Yeah.
it's like you're just
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Jurassic
right.
World, right? Isn't
Yeah,
it
you
like
can see Jurassic World. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's really nice. The
Yeah.
effect is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
Inside.
I will. Yeah, I like it. That the ride was like very chaotic for a first time playthrough.
Yeah. And
yeah,
it's
it
the
was
only
hard.
ride.
I'm-
Everything else is
I
activity.
will
So if you don't have the
say-
bracelet,
My glasses weren't working. The right side wasn't working.
Oh.
So I could only see
Oh.
how to.
That
Like,
sucks.
so I just like closed my right eye. So like, cause like it was-
bummer.
so much
It
jank.
looked
Yeah,
really
so
good.
I was playing with like one eye the whole time because it was like it looked weird when I had both eyes open.
He still got an incredible
But like
score.
even with that,
Yeah, what do you score? I never asked.
he got
the-
119.
whoa.
Psycho.
I wanted to be able to just like focus on like seeing all the practical environments because it's a mix of the augmented reality
Right.
plus practical set pieces, and then it's like I kind of want to like can I just pick the option where I just go through and get to see everything, like an autoplay option? It's like, I don't care about the high score game part of this. I just want to enjoy this.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a bummer that for me, there's no option for that. I understand there are a lot of rides that are popular to do, like the gamification, like the Buzz Lightyear one. That's I
mean, I guess if you took the goggles off.
Yeah, I guess I could have just ignored it, but seeing the characters drive by, I think that was part of
it's part of the story. Yeah, it blends it into the reality.
Not seeing that, I guess in the end, it's nice because it's still presenting itself as a game and capturing that essence. But I also lament if they could have just gone all in without any gamification of it. I'm thinking the Cars ride,
right?
At Disneyland.
Or even if we did that Secret Life of Pets thing, right?
Yeah,
and that was just a big animatronic.
That's honestly, for me personally, I have video games at home. I don't need this to be a game. I was I'm here for the ride immersion. This is a ride for me. I would like to just sit back and enjoy the ride, as the saying is, and that part of it is a little disappointing to me.
Wow.
I hope the future rides have no game components to them.
Wow.
Just going on them, but I fear that's not going to be the case because the apps do all this stuff, get all these stamps and stuff, and it's I get they're doing that because they want you to come back, but the physical activities and exploration should satisfy that part of it, of the theme park. The rides itself should just be, I don't know. I hope future rides have less emphasis. I don't know if I don't pay attention to the leaks of the new DK ride, or if it's gonna be gamified or not. But I really hope they cut back on it because that part was a little disappointing.
Hey, Don, am I just bad, or were you maybe stealing my kills? Is that a factor? Because I was next to Don.
Yeah, it was me, Hubert, Don, and Sophia in one car.
Kills.
Don,
okay.
you could have stole some of my kills, man.
I don't think I was stealing any of your kills, but I was seeing a lot of wayward shots coming from our car. I don't know if it was the front seat, the back seat, but a lot of friendly fire was going on. I don't know where it was coming from. I just kept seeing shells taking out our pals.
Mario came in from the left as I was shooting at Ludwig 3 times.
Swoop in.
He would swoop in, and maybe I wasn't steering. Maybe that had something to do with it.
Yeah, I got
Sophia got 114. I got a 44.
I got a stand for drift performance or something like that.
Of course you did.
That's so on brand. That is so on brand.
I wasn't trying to drift. It was just it says go left, I go left. I'm okay.
It's probably a timing thing.
Yeah.
Did we explain the ride? You're 4 people in a car, and you have a little, yoke side, whatever, infinity-shaped steering wheel. It's not a wheel. And there are buttons on the top to shoot shells, and if you look down in AR, you're wearing AR goggles on a visor, which was actually really nice. The way they do it is the visors are attached to the cart, and you have a visor or a headband thing that's it feels like a Quest 2 without a helmet.
You dial it into
you dial it in on the back
to tighten it.
And so then you put the goggles on in the ride, and they're magnetic. And what's nice is they're out from your face, so that if you're wearing glasses or whatever, they don't actually touch your face, which I really liked. I mean, this was broken, unfortunately. But yeah, so apparently you steer when you see arrows. Didn't do that, but you can shoot wherever you're looking is where you're aiming. So you have to figure out the quirks of the aiming, but.
Yeah, because there would be times where I
thought I was
looking at something, but my shots were going below it, so I had to sort of adjust.
I did that too. You had to look above and to the right of what you were seeing. So, but yeah, and then it goes through pretty slowly. You're moving physically very slowly, but it seems insane.
It feels insanely fast.
It's a really, really well done mix of AR and real life elements and stuff, and set dressing and elements mixed with screens in the set. And the AR. So that was something I was surprised with is a character you'd be going around a turn in real life, and Bowser or whatever will be in the AR driving around in the AR road in front of you, but then he would steer off the side of the AR and go onto a giant screen in the room. And the effect was really cool looking. It looked really neat. It'd be interesting to if even if it wasn't gamified, but the AR ride stuff is cool. It works a lot better than some older rides that try to mix screens and moving stuff like that, to me anyway, with AR rather than just having 3D glasses and you get really motion sick. But yeah, that's generally it. And then you shoot stuff and it scores you at the end. And if the carts win, Team Mario wins, and if the carts don't get enough, online it says you need a cumulative 100 points.
Cumulative, that's pretty.
But on our cart,
we had over
Sophia
300.
got Sophia got 114 coins.
I think maybe each passenger has to have 100. I don't know.
Well, I
That seems
only had
crazy.
80, and I thought our group had won. So I don't know.
Because someone in the other
I think
card
we missed ours.
steer.
Honestly,
had
I think we
119.
missed ours by like a coin, didn't we, or
Oh,
something
okay.
like that?
Oh, okay, I don't know.
Or maybe there's like an average rather than a cumulative.
It might be an average. Who knows? But yeah, unclear.
Unclear.
They want you to write it again. But
Yeah.
I will say this too. In
Don has
defense,
written
in
it
defense of
again.
the Rise, I will say everyone's experience on the first time is the same thing, chaos. After you go on this thing
Absolute.
3 or 4 times, it becomes more and more enjoyable. That's not a good thing. No ride should do that, where you have to go on it a few times to like even, have like your bearings on what's
Yeah.
happening. But
highest
it
learning
gets better
curve
and
of
better
any
and
ride
better.
I've ever
It
been
does
on.
get better and better and better. So.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
truly
And that's good for
chaotic.
a theme park ride, I think.
And I mean, like Dominique said, that's what they want. They want you to come back. They want you to try to grind out to get more stamps. Like, that's the whole point of it. Because really, like, in the entire land, there's one thing to do if you don't have the bracelet.
Or a dinner reservation.
Right. There's a restaurant, but we got the 1 hour early for $20, whatever. You can get in an hour early so you can make sure you get into Nintendo World. On the day we were there, it wouldn't have been a problem because we purposefully picked a not busy day. But even then, the restaurant was sold out for the entire day by like 9.
Well, I think they just had the sign out there because it was after that they had
It
switched
opened up
out
later,
and they
yeah.
started taking. So I think they just weren't taking reservations
Yeah,
yet, and
for
it
a
looked
little
like
while.
they were sold out.
They were taking reservations when we first got there, but like within 40 minutes, it was full.
Huh.
They said it was full.
Maybe
and then
they do it
opened
in
late.
waves or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Then. But to that effect, Huber, you got something that is related to that cafe that you
Chef
had to
Toad.
have.
Chef Toad and a really sick Bowser jacket.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Chef Toad
It's a
in
hoodie.
particular.
He calls
You can
hoodies
check
jackets. For
it's
some
on the
reason.
Discord, right, Gabby?
the Chef
Pictures
Toad.
of the Toad,
Toad?
Cafe.
Yeah. The Jess and Michelle and Brandon went to that in the afternoon, and they got pictures of the food and one picture of Chef Toad. But there's like a whole
Nice.
story that went on with that too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So wait, you just saw the Chef Toad toy and really liked it?
Yeah.
He had no context for why this
That's
is the Chef
so-
Toad.
He was
It's
like,
adorable.
I gotta get Chef Toad.
I had to get it.
Yeah.
I had to get it.
I love it.
Yeah.
It was very cute.
It is very cute.
Nice.
I guess it
Very nice.
remains very cute. Yeah.
Any other thoughts other than watch our travelogue when it comes out?
Once we're done, once that's up, watch it.
Yeah.
You still got alfalfa going.
It's those headphones.
Yeah.
All right, last little tidbit. There's not a lot to say about this, but it's been making the rounds today. Switch 2 was reportedly behind closed doors at Gamescom. Nintendo was showing it off. Eurogamer reported it first, and then VGC came in and added some details. So Eurogamer said that it was being demoed to partners, including a demo version. This is not guaranteed to be released or anything, but a version of Breath of the Wild running on the new specs, on the new hardware.
Must be nice.
And then VGC said they also showed off Epic's, remember the Matrix Awakens?
Yes.
They showed that
Unreal.
running on there.
So it has DLSS.
Well, that's the thing too, is running, they were saying using DLSS and advanced ray tracing.
Yeah. RTX on, dude. Switch.
So,
So that makes
it's
it better
gonna-
than a Steam Deck? No, that is RTX.
And
I don't
probably
know.
be,
I don't know,
mean, Nintendo's
actually.
at TGS, so they'll probably be showing. I imagine they'll be showing it behind closed doors.
Again,
to
behind closed
TGS
doors.
to
Yeah, this is the time.
Japanese publishers. Yep.
Here we go.
And Ray reports that it's already in the hands of their own teams, and like key third-party
Yeah.
developers already have access
Yeah,
to it.
I'm
so
guessing like the likes of Square Enix and Capcom.
Yeah.
And stuff. The people they were showing in Europe were probably like the kind of like the next group down.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of those people they would have just gotten in the hands of as soon as they could.
next year.
That's wild.
I mean, it depends on how early in the development cycle it is, but yeah.
Gonna be holiday next year.
That's like
Yeah, I
the
believe it.
earliest I think we
I
would
believe
see
it.
it.
Oh, it's 100%.
Well,
It's
some people have
100%.
started saying
Dude, Damiani
spring
gives
now, but
100%.
I
It's
mean,
100.
it could be earlier, but I think
I am banking more towards the
November.
later part.
November is probably like November 2024 is probably the latest it's coming out.
I was thinking that too this whole time, Damiani, but then after seeing these things this morning, people are saying there's good evidence to think it'll be earlier, like
Oh, yeah.
the spring.
It could be.
Would it be impossible, Damiani? I ran this past Bloodworth earlier. would it be possible that they could release it spring, much like the Switch, with a paltry lineup of one AAA title, Damiani, and the title is Metroid 4? Could it do it? Much like much like Breath of the Wild was the one AAA on that Switch for a long time. It felt like
Odyssey.
It wasn't that long.
I don't.
mean, it was like
Odyssey.
Breath of the
Wild
was their
was
biggest thing, but there was definitely a lot of games that came out in that first
I
year.
think 6 months. There
If
was
you
at
look-
least a 6-month window, though. Never before there'd
You
been
had
such
Arms,
a paltry
you had,
lineup.
you had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. You
come on,
had
Arms.
Mario and Rabbids, and then like by
Rabbids.
October, you had Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, by October, that's 6-month window.
I think Metroid 4 is not for a while.
Okay.
I
but-
don't know that Metroid Prime 4 is necessarily that far off, but I,
thought
don't
you were
think
gonna
it's
say you
going to
don't know
be.
if it exists.
I don't think it's going to be their like linchpin launch.
Well,
game.
it doesn't. Metroid doesn't sell very well.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
there you go.
Exactly.
It's not the big.
But also, it's not coming too soon.
yeah.
But
It
like,
is.
I mean,
It
if
could
they,
be a ray tracing showcase, though.
yeah,
I mean,
but it's not coming very soon.
it could. Yeah.
The Mario Kart.
It's either it's either
Mario Kart
it's either
will be the
Mario
launch
Kart
game,
Yeah.
X
right?
Mario
Yeah.
Kart
Yeah.
or 3D Mario. It's
Mario
one of
Kart
those
and
two.
3D Mario.
Will
both,
GTA
yeah.
6 be on the Switch too?
Yes, there'll be
Yeah.
a version of GTA 6 on Switch too.
But here,
They'll
but
be insane. To
if
not
it
put
did
a
come
version
out
of
in
it this time.
spring, I think if they do put it out that fast, it would be because of scarcity, like chip scarcity and stuff, that they would want to put it out in spring for like early adopters to spring on it and fight over it on eBay, and then so they could build up more stock for holiday.
Yeah, I think that's the smart way to go because
Yeah.
everyone trying to smash that thing holiday sales.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be
It's
pandemonium,
better
blood
to-
in the streets.
It's better to get your your crunch twice
Yeah.
rather than
People will
getting it at
die
the
in the
same
Best
time.
Buy.
But we'll see.
Switch 2 it begins.
Well, people have
now
been
it
talking
like
about it forever,
officially
but yeah.
officially begins. It is now
Officially.
official.
We're getting credible reports. for
We were
sure.
in day 0. It feels like we're in day 1 now. It really does. Straight up, all those rumors, everything. Now it's the real deal.
The people that are talking
This
though
the most substantiated.
Now Switch
yeah.
2 exists.
aren't.
Like it obviously
They're not
existed,
giving
but-
details on what the hardware is.
Yeah.
they're avoiding that.
Yeah.
but
Right.
yeah, we'll see.
Fuck yeah.
Also this week,
Nothing like a new console launch, dude. Oh my god.
Starfield has already reached 6 million players, including a high of 1 million concurrent players, making it Bethesda's biggest launch of all time.
Good for them.
Yeah, nothing
Yeah.
new there.
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah, no shocker.
I'm going to roll this footage here for Huber.
Yeah, dude.
Gargoyles Remastered,
Hell
Whoa,
yeah.
yeah.
bringing the 1995 Genesis game
Yup.
back.
I played the shit out of this
This
game
lighting.
as a kid.
The blue edge on everything. I love it.
Gargoyles.
Guess when this is coming out?
October.
19th.
October's gotta cool it, dude.
So, but they also
Oh, it looks
have,
so much worse.
Yeah, they have
does.
a not so great looking
Oh,
remastered
God.
Yeah, I don't like that as much.
art style, but you can swap back and forth
Oh, okay. Great. Cool.
in real time. Kinda
Don't
like
need the
Halo.
new look.
Goliath does look pretty cool in the new
He
look.
kinda
His-
does.
His like wings and the
It looks like
not as
it's
good,
not
though.
contrasty enough.
Yeah.
It's like washed out.
Looks like a browser game, honestly. No
yeah,
shade,
yeah,
but like
yeah, it likes flash animation.
yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas the
it's
weird.
the
It's
original looks
more
incredible.
Yeah.
like a flat self shading kind of thing going on. Yeah.
Ah.
Gargoyles has a pulse.
Gargoyles has a pulse. Dude. Isn't there a new show like coming or something?
I'd heard something
Am I
about that. I don't
crazy?
know.
I thought there was a new show.
I think you're right.
The digital version is $15.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
There are special physical editions coming from limited run as well. Don, you're saying you looked at those and they were like 35 or something for physical?
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Probably some extra stuff going on there. Anyways, speaking of October,
Hello.
Alone in the Dark,
Woo.
the first game to officially get out of Dodge.
Our petition worked.
Specifically saying that they wanted to get out of the way of Alan Wake 2 and Spider-Man 2.
Smart move. I
Wise.
mean, every human will be playing one or both of those games, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's now going to release January 16th, 2024.
It's a smart move, honestly. Like, I get you want to capitalize on the Halloween October vibe for Alone in the Dark, but it's just too crowded You
Yeah.
know? And it's an established IP, but it's been dormant for so long. It'll be a lot of people's first
Right.
time
Yeah.
experiencing anything Alone in the Dark at all.
Huber, they actually kind of alluded to that too. But let me see if I can find the title of this ridiculous
It's a smart move.
email.
Are they?
And
they're-
January has released a lot of good horror games over the years.
Yeah.
Like January's sick.
Staying as
Dying Light,
alone
Dead
in the
Island?
dark as possible.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
October's too crowded.
Yeah.
We need to be alone.
Dying Light and Dead Island 2 are proof that a horror game can thrive in January.
And did they say that they're going to use more of the time to work
Oh,
on it
yeah,
too?
of
Like,
course.
yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully
you
they're
always
not
have more
sleeping
time
on
to
it.
polish,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think it's only good. It's a bummer that they'll miss holiday, although I don't know that horror games sell well over Christmas, so probably fine to do January. And January I don't think has the same stigma as it does for movies.
No.
It's not fuck you, it's January for games.
And it's like mid-January, so it's not like people aren't playing with the stuff they got over Christmas
right,
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
We lost Damiani temporarily, so maybe I'll come back to this one. Next, Steam is in the process of making it easier for players to identify which games support PS4 and PS5 controllers.
Hey, sick.
Nice.
Hopefully rolling that out in October.
That has long
Great.
been a pain in the ass. Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
patch. Yeah, it just happened to us.
Yeah, you were like, plug in a PS5 controller. I'm like,
Yeah.
it won't work.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I don't have DS for Windows on
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, so I guess they're giving developers the tools now so that they can like flag them.
Great.
And then you'll be able to sort and search and all that kind of thing. Like,
Perfect.
which games support this controller? Yeah.
Noich.
Noich.
Huber, roll this one,
Yo.
Don. Got our first look at EA Sports WRC.
I love rally driving.
It's pronounced EA Sports.
Big red flags immediately. The first EA, second in-game purchases.
Oh, yeah,
So
those things
the
are
alarm
always going
bells,
to be there no matter what.
the alarm bells are ringing.
But
Live action trailer.
They bought live
Partially.
action shots in between gameplay
Yeah.
because this is the first game since Codemasters got the WRC
Makes me
license.
nervous.
So this is the same, basically the follow-up of Dirt Rally and Dirt Rally
Right.
2.0,
Yeah.
but now they have the official license, and it's coming out November 3rd for $50.
Okay.
And all you have to do to get the 3-day early access and some other goodies is pre-order. And there's going to be 18 official locations.
That's friendly.
The 10
Pre-order for early access is so friendly instead of buying a collector's edition for
Right.
like $30 more.
$100, yeah.
That is so nice. All right. Shout out.
the 10 current vehicles and then 68 legacy vehicles, all authentic to the sport.
So how many total was it?
That'll be 78.
78 car. Okay.
Yeah.
10 plus 16.
I didn't hear the first number.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But both of the Dirt Rally games were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, dirt.
Like the main series has had its ups and downs, but I think the Rally games have been very solid. Like the morning this was shown off, like beating down Brian was DMing me like over and over. Like, do you hear about this and this and this and this? And there's also they kind of left this out, but like there's going to be VR is going to be
Oh.
supported on the PC version.
Perfect.
So yeah, some good stuff.
Do you think, like, with car games, forgive me if this is a completely ignorant question, but, like, does having the license help or hurt? Like, does it give them access to a whole bunch of new stuff, or does it make them beholden to following a bunch of stringent kind of rules and stuff?
I mean, it's a little of both. I mean, I think with Dirt Rally, it was already going for authenticity, so it
Right.
just kind of probably helps them to be able to have real routes that
Cool,
people
yeah,
compete
yeah.
in and all that kind
That's
of thing.
neat. That's neat.
And I'm sure, like, for this iteration, they're probably just trying to like get all that stuff nailed down.
Yeah.
But they've been doing such a good job with F1 over the years,
Yeah.
and that series has only gotten bigger and better.
Well, it's always been interesting to me over the years, like you guys talking about in Gran Turismo or whatever, like, oh, this is like a famous track, like this is a famous race course or whatever.
Check out the movie. So awesome because it's like one of the things is like obviously the gamer goes and like races on the track in real life, and it's like even from my perspective, Blood, it's like, yeah, these tracks, like you have these friggin' tracks memorized.
Memorized, yeah.
You play them so many times.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Roll this. Nintendo Switch Online got an interesting assortment of releases this week. From the Super NES, we got Kirby Star Stacker.
Whoa.
For the NES, we got Joy Mech Fight
Look at that.
Joy Mech Fight.
and Downtown Neketsu March Super Awesome Field Day.
I love that game.
And then on the
Never heard of
Game
it.
Boy Color,
Never
we
heard
got Quest for Camelot. So yeah, the reason none of these things sound familiar is those first 3 games were only released in Japan
only.
before.
Yeah.
So they're just now
It's the best.
coming out over here. And Quest for Camelot is a weird one because this is based on a Warner Brothers animated movie. So it's like one of the few licensed games
Looks
to come
sick
to
as
this
shit.
service.
That originally was only in Japan?
No.
This one, okay.
This one was the exception.
Dude,
but
Zelda.
Nintendo like co-published this with Titus back at the time. So anyways, weird stuff.
Have none of you seen the Quest for Camelot movie?
No.
Oh
I-
my
I have
god,
not.
it's so good.
Is it?
Yes, it's great.
Is it a cartoon?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Gabby has seen a movie none of us have
Yeah,
seen.
this is never.
This is unprecedented.
This has literally never happened before.
Yeah.
it's like back when you said it's Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
It's back when Warner Brothers was like trying to kind of copy Disney's style. So it's very Disney-esque.
Cool.
Sick.
Yeah,
Weird.
it's great.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah,
On the
and-
list,
And it has
Gabby.
great music too. It's a musical.
So as you
Sick.
saw, the downtown Neketsu or whatever, that's kind of related to Kunio-kun Double Dragon stuff.
Got
That's
it.
the super awesome mega fun time?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever?
And then this last one is the Joy Mech Fight, which is like it's a fighting game with
It's like Vector Man
they look
fighting.
like Vector Man or Rayman or something because they don't
Yeah.
have arms.
The
but
super
robot fighting.
super whatever downtown Neketsu super awesome field day looked weird because they were like holding like tires and stuff to like float in water or something.
I don't know what the premise of that game is.
Wait,
But it
is that
looks like you're like doing like some kind of crazy workout routine.
There's a game like that.
Field, yeah,
one of
field.
one of those is the origin of the River City Girls. One of those.
Okay.
They debuted in a
Oh.
Kunio-kun like athletic game, I believe. So
Might have been
could
that.
Be it.
Might
could
have been
be
that one, yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it
we'll
when
get
he
a
crawled
correction on
across
that.
the. And then he's back.
Now Damiani's back. Annapurna Animation will be doing an adaptation of Stray because they can.
Yeah.
Because they own that. Led by Ice Age director Chris Wedge.
Oh, okay.
Ice Age. Yeah.
Print money, print that money.
yeah.
Will focus on the buddy comedy and
Wait.
hope punk aspects of the game.
Buddy comedy.
Hope Punk.
Buddy comedy.
Hope
what?
Punk?
It's a serious game. What is this buddy comedy?
I should see the Hope Punk.
For
Hope
you
Punk.
and the robot, I guess.
It's not buddy comedy. What?
If the cat talks, I'm gonna be.
Oh yeah, that's
If the cat talks, I'm out.
I'm out.
I'm just
Right.
telling you right now, I'm out.
has to be a reimagining. Yeah, the cat talks.
I'll tell you, I'm out right now. There's no way.
Damiani.
Because the
Side note.
device it wears can help communicate.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Damiani loved the Secret Life of Pets ride.
Yeah, I
Just
cheered
in case you
during
were
the
curious.
cat alley part.
Yeah, he cheered.
Was meant to be like the bad guy part. That was the hero part.
There are good cats too. Yeah.
I was very upset that I could not pick. Love for all animals, but I was upset I couldn't pick to be a cat because it transforms you into a dog.
Yeah.
You cannot be transformed into a cat.
I wanted to be Bowser in Mario Kart.
You want to be Bowser? I want to be a cat. It was a little upsetting.
Yeah.
God.
Why did they choose Stray? Because it's wildly popular.
Wildly.
I mean, yeah. It's like one of their best-selling games. Isn't it?
Yeah.
PS Plus, did that factor into that? The sales or anything? How popular it is, I
Potentially.
mean?
I mean, yeah.
Concurrent
the
players
PlayStation
and-
backed
yeah.
it for sure. Yeah. Also wildly popular, Megan Fox has been announced as a voice actor
So
for
funny.
Mortal Kombat 1,
Hey, Megan Fox is cool. I'm into it.
playing Natara,
I'm into this.
a vampire hailing from the desolate realm of Eternus.
Sick.
I asked Don about this earlier. Natara's been around here and there, but has she been absent for a while, or
I don't even remember this character
is vampire character you
whatsoever.
remember?
Yeah, I don't even remember. Don, this seems like an Armageddon or like a
Yeah, that's her origin. Was
Knew
in
it.
The 3D. She
Of
was
course.
in the 3D trilogy, and
Yep.
I think they brought her back. Maybe I don't know if she's been back since the 3D. Probably not actually, but I remember from the 3Ds one.
Yeah.
for sure.
That Armageddon is I know you love Armageddon so much, but it's so hazy for me, Don.
He loves Skull and Bones.
Deadly Alliance and Deception I just played forever. So then by the time Armageddon came, I was just like a little fatigued. And
Armageddon, you really should go back to Huber. I would say it's literally everything about that game is excellent except the fatality system.
Totally.
Which is big.
Interesting.
Got to circle back.
It even has a character creator in it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, Don, what's your reaction to this announcement?
I'll be honest, Blood, the Megan Fox thing doesn't do a huge thing for me. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's fine, but it doesn't necessarily do anything good or bad. I mean, for me, I'm already committed to getting this game. I'm pumped about it. I know it's going to be fun. I'm happy Natara's there. It's cool to have a vampire character in there. She looks fine. The rendering looked great. I thought it's cool. Nothing wrong with having real world people in there, I guess.
Did they make her look like Megan Fox?
Yeah.
It's her
Pre or
likeness.
post plastic surgery?
Maybe a little bit of both. I don't know.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Nothing gets me more hyped than JCVD as Johnny Cage.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's cool.
See that for instance, and I did like in the past when they had some of the, but yeah, the JCVD thing has got me pretty pumped.
Yep.
Yeah. And then last up, Day of the Devs announced they'll be doing another showcase attached to the Game Awards. They're going to do a live stream the day before, like we've seen. Well, I guess with Summer Game Fest, they do it like right after. Yeah. So their live stream is going to be the day before.
I guess that makes sense because Game Awards is at night.
Yeah. And then they're going to have an in-person event for media and industry the day after. So
Let's go to it.
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I already told them.
Nice.
Already on the list.
We're already on the list.
Not on the list yet, but I told them.
Put us on the list.
All right. It's time for Love and Respect. Love and Respect.
Ooh, very operatic. Here.
From Rahul Misal. Hey, allies. In your opinion, how much does the quality of a game's ending affect your overall opinion of the game
Significantly.
and your scores? For example, if you really like the first 80% of a game, but you feel the rest was a total letdown, how does that impact your recommendations?
So they mean more than just the narrative ending, like a conclusion to a game, like the final sequence.
It's significant. You want the game to be meaningful, and if the ending is not good, then like what has come before it can be diminished. Also, I feel like it's very easy for a game to be good over 5, 10, whatever hours, depending on the length of it, but to continue to maintain the quality throughout the entire thing, to sometimes have like the best parts at the end is a lot harder. So yeah, I put a lot of stock in the endings of a video game, no doubt. Narrative and gameplay mechanics. Because like, oh, this is cool, like this mechanic is cool to do in the beginning, and then you just like keep doing the same mechanic over and over, and it like kind of loses something. But
Right, for sure.
yeah, so
For me, because I don't review games, like I don't finish games I don't like. So if they end poorly, that means I was liking it up until that point. So it burns me pretty hard. But yeah, usually I don't hit the end of a game if I'm not liking it. But if I hit the ending and it's bad, woo.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the game. It's definitely a disappointment when it's not a good ending. I guess it's like, is it a bad ending, or is it just, like, did it just not meet expectations, but like it was still like an okay ending? Like there's like degrees. It's not like it was just bad and it's like the whole game suffers for it, or it's like I wasn't expecting that, and that wasn't really for me, but like it made sense at least, so like it's okay. So from a narrative standpoint, like it's hard for like. It has to be a really bad ending, and like I haven't really come across too many, if ever, that like are so god awful. It's like I'm penalizing your game because this ending was so bad. I
think sometimes maybe like if you're on the fence of like maybe where you might score, then it's like when
I was at finish, the only thing it can do for me usually is like maybe elevate the score a little bit. Of like, oh man, this ending was so darn good, and like especially if it's like this game was pretty good, and then like this ending was amazing. Like I really like this ending. This is this worked.
Death Stranding comes to mind, where it's like the game is very meditative and slow, but then the ending you're just like, oh shit, yeah.
And then like the sequences, like I do expect some of like the most like jaw-dropping parts to be in that part. So from a gameplay design, like even like environmental design, like you have to be doing anything like crazy new yet, but like the visual spectacle should be there, or at least like very meaningful. Like it's like
Yeah.
this looks like what I was expecting.
Some new enemy types in there near the end. Like so many games, it's just like you're fighting the same freaking things for so freaking long, so you don't get any other like build up. And like so many games just like pull right into the station at the end.
They, like kind of the
Instead
old
of, like-
school like boss gauntlet thing. Is like, okay,
Right.
fight them all
Reusing,
in
yeah.
a row. Okay,
Yeah, it's like give me some.
Well, and I think
Back up.
that is evidence of something else I was going to talk about, where it's like you can tell they ran out of money.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Xenosaga or Xenogears, I mean, is like the joke version of this, where like they ran out of money so hard the last disc is just a cutscene. But like, you could tell in a lot of games where it's just like, okay, you ran out of time or money or both, and so you kind of just had to put this together.
Like 16,
MGS5.
Right.
16 just like running out of enemy types fairly early, like pretty early on. Like Tomes has the bestiarity, and like halfway through the game, it was like
Bestiarity.
mostly. What's the word for that?
Bestiary.
Bestiary.
Bestiary. Most of that was filled up,
Yeah,
and then it was just like, okay, this
Yeah.
now this enemy instead of red is blue. or something.
harder versions of
Kind
enemy.
of, dude.
But I mean, even Dark Souls.
kind of.
I mean, Dark Souls ran out of time and money. Like, Lost Izalith sucks, and like the enemies start repeating. Whatever. Got you a perfect game.
Like that
Still.
part. So I don't really get too turned off unless it's like early enough in the game. It's like I'm fighting like the same enemies, and there's like zero variety, and then they don't even increase in challenge. To me, you see like everything like pretty early on. To me, that's like Breath of the Wild. You see like the different color gradients of every enemy. It's like pretty, you can see it within few hours. It's like that's it. You're not getting anything harder than that. It's like, okay, like that's pretty much it. They kind of addressed that in sequels. We don't need to get in that. But I'm more like, you mentioned boss gauntlets. I hate boss gauntlets at the end. It's like, to me, it's like one of the laziest things.
Yeah.
And I hate like super epic long dungeons. They're just like hour-long dungeon of like lots of fights. I'm like, dude, no, I don't want this. Like you're just dragging this out. JRPGs are notorious for having these things, like these giant hour-long final stretches of dungeons with like tons of like corridors,
Just corridors,
and the random
yeah, that's what I
encounter
was gonna
ones where it's
say.
like Final Fantasy 3. I haven't played it, and I've like been like convinced that it has like the worst final dungeon in any game, because it's like a marathon with like no save points, and it's like horrible. But like Tales of games have this issue as well. Star Ocean games have this as well. I was about to correct myself, but it's like, no, they do as well, and it's just not fun. It's not like enjoyable. I'd rather just like I prefer spectacle and like something like exuberant, because like this is the final boss. Like let's get crazy, man. Like I don't care how insanely ridiculous this looks, just do it. Let's go places. And
Yeah.
like,
I mean,
wow
we were
me.
raised to expect that at the end of every game, you either become or kill God.
Pretty much.
And so if you don't, it's a letdown.
Or shock value is in like the finale is like, it doesn't have to be like a spectacle, but it's like someone dies or
Yeah.
you die or like something like that. It's like, holy
Narrative,
crap.
yeah.
You
It
have
either
the-
has to be gameplay or narrative.
Yeah, like stakes. It's
Yeah.
literally the stake. There has to be stakes in the ending, man. Where it's like visual stakes,
Exactly,
like I haven't seen
exactly.
anything like this the whole game. Wow, you wowed
Yeah.
me. Or narrative stakes, like this went down. Oh crap! I can't.
Like if
look-
I'm not emotionally invested by the end of a game, like something is wrong.
You know what's weird though? Kind of a counter to this. A game. I was just thinking about Silent Hill 2 and the different endings, like because there are 6, if
As
memory
you do.
serves, which I do almost every day. But it's funny because some endings in some games like that, where you have a bunch of endings, suck.
Yeah.
Like you got the bad ending, but in a weird way, getting the bad ending is awesome because then you're like, well, shit, I got to get the good ending.
Yeah.
And then it like gives you this kind of like kick in the seat to like try to
Totally.
do this other stuff and see these other things. And like
Like in The Expanse.
a lot of times, oh my god, I can't think about it either. But in the, yeah, and sometimes it's nice when you don't have to replay the whole thing to get the different endings,
Yeah.
but like, or save scum it, whatever. But yeah, that kind of stuff is sick.
Totally.
Let's play a game.
Oh. Do, 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 do.
From Ian Alexander. Lost in Translation number 5.
Oh, I love these.
Yeah, so you get to try to guess the correct titles of these games translated from Chinese to English with the infamously inaccurate Google Translate. The first to say the full English title gets the point. They are all games that have recently been discussed on Taiwan's top gaming news site, Bahamut. Star, Brad is undefeated in this game, so now you have a chance.
Now we have a chance.
All right. First one, Lana Star.
What star?
Planet of
Starfield?
Lana.
Yep.
Oh, Planet of Lana.
Oh, Lana.
Great start.
Yeah. Let me get points here.
I love Bloodroost's little hums when he's doing things. I've been playing with this piece of paper. It is shredded.
All right. Second, Ghost Detective.
Ghost Trick?
Straight.
Got it.
Nice.
Isla got it.
Awesome.
Right on there.
Right there. It's right there. My brain doesn't work that fast.
We're tired. We're all tired.
No. I love this. Dragon Among Men 7 side story unknown heroes.
This is like a dragon.
like a dragon Ishin.
No, it's just like a dragon.
Gaiden. Like, what is it called?
Keep going.
Like a dragon.
The man who erased his name.
The man
There
who
it
erased
is.
his name. Damn it! I wouldn't have remembered that.
It took too long.
Ooh, this is hard. Okay. Eternal War.
Eternal Darkness. Sanity's Requiem.
Recently discussed in Taiwan's top gaming news site,
Eternal
Bahamut.
War? Guild Wars. Armored Core.
Mortals of Avium?
You got it.
Holy shit!
Anything with infinite.
Eternal! Yeah, great work, Damiani.
10 out of 10.
That's great.
Viewing Window.
Viewfinder.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah.
Viewing window.
Viewing Window's good. That's so good.
Oh, Fringe. Remember Fringe?
Yes.
The window that he
I
made?
never finished.
You ready?
What?
I know.
We're
You
ready.
ready?
We're thinking about Fringe now.
Okay. Iron Fist 8.
Oh,
Tekken?
Tekken 8.
Tekken 8?
Damn it.
I didn't say
think-
8. I said Tekken.
I think that's close enough.
Okay.
Though. I mean, 8's easy enough.
Iron Fist.
Crouching Dragon, Heaven Has Fallen.
Wukong?
Wolang.
Wolang?
Wolong.
Wolong.
Yeah.
Wolong.
Fallen Dynasty.
Fallen Dynasty, yeah.
The,
I'm not sure which one
we
you
both
actually
said
got
it
that. You
wrong.
kind of put it together.
we gotta, give us to us both. Or neither of us.
We'll put some
Wukong
0.5s
and Wolong.
there.
Yeah, put some 0.5s. Between the two of us, we got there.
Spradoon 3.
Splatoon 3.
There you go.
Sweet.
Spradoon 3.
Splatoon. Kind of like that.
I kind of like that too.
The Goddess of Harmony. The
Final
Fall
Fantasy
of Dreams.
13.
No.
It's the only goddess.
The Goddess
What
of
was
Harmony,
the title?
what?
Goddess of Harmony what?
The Goddess of Harmony. The Fall of Dreams.
Stray Gods? Or that Harmony game you liked?
You're close.
Harmony
you
of
remember,
Dissonance.
You got to know the name of it.
Harmony. The Stray Gods, a musical or whatever. It
It's a
was
different game.
okay. Harmony. I don't know the rest of the game name.
Oh, it's the Donut one, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harmony
of Reverie.
Reverie.
Forever.
Yeah, you got close enough.
I get
there.
that point.
Harmony, the Fall of Reverie, yes.
Damn it.
Giving it to Isla.
Okay, thanks,
You're
bud.
circling it for a
That's
while.
very nice.
Developer published that one, Blood.
Huh?
Did Don't Know Developer publish that one?
Yes.
Both, I guess.
Both. Sweet.
Wow.
A Don't Know game I haven't played. What the fuck?
Yeah, who
oh,
are
it's-
you?
Oh, it's 2023.
Oh yeah.
Haunted House.
Resident Evil.
No.
Haunted House.
Alone in the Dark.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, because it doesn't have to be out yet. Because I thought Alone in the Dark when I was like, oh, it's not out.
Wrestling Adventure.
WrestleQuest.
WrestleQuest.
Yep.
Yeah. Good job, Hubert.
You got me on the wrestling one. I just would have
Yeah.
thrown in the towel.
I would have had to mercy kill you. Yeah.
Wandering God.
Stray Gods.
Stray-
There you go.
There it is. Stray
A
Gods.
musical. Isn't a musical something in the whatever?
A role-playing musical,
A
but they
role-playing
didn't
musical.
include a subtitle.
Okay. Okay.
The Four Untouchables from the South. It's snowing.
Pikmin 4. Just kidding.
The Four Untouchables from the South. It's snowing.
What?
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 Four Untouchables.
What's a game with a group of 4 people?
Yeah.
No, that's not right.
Ice.
Say it.
You might be right. Say it.
Probably right.
No, we didn't have a 2 in it, so it's not right.
There's no 2 in
There's no
this.
2.
There's 4.
The 4 untouchables from the
Yeah,
south.
there's a 4
It's
in it.
snowing.
Oh.
So 4-player I was thinking of.
Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
No.
No.
Damn.
4-player game.
I think recently would be in headlines.
Starfield.
No.
Baldur's Gate 3?
No.
You can play 4-player.
Good guess.
Trine 5? You can play
No.
4-player on that. Check out our full playthrough.
Kind of getting closer.
Trine 5 is closer.
Blasphemous 2.
Say it again?
The 4 untouchables from the south. It's snowing.
I love it, whatever it is.
I'm going to give up on this one.
The 4 untouchables from the south.
got me.
It's snowing.
Damiani, one last try.
Yeah, I can't.
No, I was going to say Remnant 2. That's
Okay.
Yeah.
South Park Snow Day.
Oh.
Wait, is that a newer game?
It's
It was
not out
announced.
yet.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know a South Park game was announced.
Yeah.
Crazy. I missed that.
I
Wow.
would never have thought of that.
What the heck? Is it in like
Weren't
a...
you on this panel? Maybe you were out that week.
Is it
He
a-
was out that
is it a
time.
stick
I
of
was on the
truth?
desk for that.
No,
Type?
it's like a
It's a.
Action-
it's
like,
like Diablo.
Diablo.
It's a multiplayer.
It's an ARPG.
A South Park ARPG?
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Deadline by Dawn.
Dead by
Until
Daylight.
Dawn.
Isla.
Dead by Daylight.
Mech Combat 6.
Ace Combat 6.
Fires Rubicon.
Fires Rubicon! Fuck!
You said Ace Combat?
Yeah.
Wait, I said Ace Combat! You screwed me up. He said Ace Combat also, didn't you? We both said Ace Combat. Armored Core 6 Fires Rubicon.
It was Mech Combat 6 Realm Skyfire.
Ooh, that's
I don't know if either one of you
cool.
got that. So 6
I said it fully. I said
with
Armored
Isla.
Core 6 Fires Rubicon. I did say it.
He
You
said.
said Ace Combat
And then I
6.
said Armored Core 6 Fires Rubicon.
Okay.
Check to say it. I did say it.
We were both
Whenever
screaming.
I'm
Well,
screaming.
if we give it to Hugh, then you both died.
Nice. The perfect victory. And we got 6.5?
6.5.
Perfect.
6.5. And almost swimming.
Yeah.
Could have been swimming together.
Could have been swimming.
Damn it.
From Jonathan Salmon.
We've never gone swimming together.
I
don't like swimming.
Yeah, I kind of don't like swimming
Yeah, I don't
in like
either.
water,
No,
like
me neither.
sand. It gets everywhere.
It's coarse.
It's coarse. Yeah, I like the woods.
Oh, let's
I'm
go to
a
the
woodland
woods.
person.
I want to go. Let's go camping.
Yeah, I like the woods and stuff.
Okay. And by
then
camping, I
and
mean.
then you can go swimming.
By camping, I mean let's get an Airbnb and a hot tub.
Luxurious
Yeah,
camping.
yeah.
From Jonathan Salmon. Yo, allies. Longtime listener. First love and respect submission.
Hi.
This past year, I've gone deep into the backlogs to play through 2 Telltale Games classics, Wolf Among Us and the entirety of The Walking Dead.
Nice.
Great.
Both are fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I personally feel like so many popular IP could be adapted into this format. Now, with
They
The
did.
Expanse still currently releasing episodes,
It's
what
so
are
good.
some other IP that you think would work well adapted into the Telltale format?
Who framed Roger Rabbit?
Wow. Yes.
That is so left field, but you're so right. Oh,
Just a fucking lightning bolt into my brain right there. That's
holy
how my brain works.
shit!
Give me it now.
That's really good.
I want that to happen now.
Same.
They could not get the rights to all the things. That was lightning in a bottle, that movie. Oh, that would be freaking great. What else is like a good Succession?
That'd be cool. Good consequences
that
and
would
stuff.
be-
So and so remembers that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shiv will remember
yeah,
that.
that
dude.
actually that made me think Silicon Valley.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's like everything is constantly going wrong despite
Yeah.
you making the right choices.
Yep.
Arrested Development.
Everything that you make is the right
Would be
choice
fun.
turns out to be the wrong choice.
Yeah.
Super good.
Man. They haven't done comedy ones, really. Arrested Development would be good.
I mean, they have, but it's been a while. Like
Tales from
Strong
the
Bad was
Borderlands
one of the
is
early
like-
ones.
Oh, yeah. They did a Strong Bad one?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Wow, I have no knowledge of that.
That was a while.
yeah,
ago.
back in the wee days.
Shit.
I got into them in their newer era, Back to the Future onward.
Yeah.
I thought Back to the Future was the first one,
Yeah,
so
but
it
it's-
shows what I know.
That was kind of
Park.
earlier. Yeah, like Walking Dead is really when they broke out.
Yeah.
It's when they became a thing. Did you have one? Don, did you have one?
Yeah, I've never really been like, I want this to be a Telltale game.
Yeah.
Stranger Things, maybe that could be kind of cool.
Stranger Things would be really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm like thinking, like stuff that's already episodic.
Yeah.
could make
Yeah,
sense,
yeah.
Stranger Things
I
would
was
be cool.
trying to, like something that has like maybe like a focus on romance too would be kind of nice.
Totally.
Like something like that has some kind of a mythical thing too, but like has romance, more romance. I don't know.
Nice. All right, it's time for bets. This week's bet, Gunbrella, recently announced to be out next week. In the launch trailer, or the most recent trailer, how many times will we see the Gunbrella opened?
Tattered rags.
A shot when it's already open doesn't count. You have to see it go from closed state to open state. Isla, your reconstructed bet is
12.
12. Huber,
7.
7. Damiani,
3.
Whoa.
3. Don,
You open that umbrella a lot.
Under
I went
my
22.
Nice.
22. And I went with 14.
Shit.
Shit.
You boxed me in, blood.
Last week's bet, Fae Farm is out tomorrow, Friday, September 8th. Reviews came out on Wednesday. I went through the top 10 English reviews on OpenCritic, looking to see how many times Harvest Moon, Animal Crossing, and Stardew Valley would come up.
Great bet.
And everyone bet on which one would be the highest and how many times it would appear. Brad bet Stardew Valley with 4. Huber bet Stardew Valley with 3. Damiani bet that there would be a two-way tie between the top two. Don bet Stardew Valley with 6. And I bet Animal Crossing with 6.
Did Damiani say a number?
Nope, he just said it'd be a two-way tie between the top two.
So did he make a bet?
It was far enough of a limb in a situation that
Okay, I guess if
figured
he
it would
nails
be-
that, sure.
Yeah. Games Radar, Harvest Moon 0, Animal Crossing. I almost said Armored Core.
Armored Core.
Ace Combat.
It's pronounced Ace Combat, yeah.
Harvest Moon 0, Animal Crossing 1, Stardew Valley 2, Kotaku, Harvest Moon 2, Animal Crossing 1, Stardew Valley 2, Attack of the Fanboy, Harvest Moon 0, Animal Crossing 1, Stardew Valley 0. God is a Geek didn't say any of them. Gaming Trend, Harvest Moon 0, Animal Crossing 1, Stardew Valley 0. COG Connected, Harvest Moon 1, Animal Crossing 1, Stardew Valley 1. Twinfinite, didn't pull any of them. Nintendo Life, Harvest Moon 0, Animal Crossing 0, Stardew Valley 1. RPG Fan, Harvest Moon 1, Animal Crossing 0, Stardew Valley 3.
Whoa.
RPG Site, Harvest Moon 1, Animal Crossing 0, Stardew Valley 0. Bringing the totals to Harvest Moon 5, Animal Crossing 5,
No.
Stardew Valley
1.
9.
Okay. Almost had it, Damiani. Jeez.
Bringing the win to Dawn. And the scores to Garrulous Ducks 24.
Quack, 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 quack.
Oh, quack, 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 quack.
And Sleepy Grizzlies 16. Let me tell you about patreon.com/easyallies. Patreon is how we are funded, how we exist. Everything that we do happens because people just like yourself who watch this show and everything else that we do decide to go over there and pitch in and fund all of our content. And there are all kinds of fun rewards over there. At $5 a month, you get this podcast 2 days early. You get it ad-free. You get 2 bonus love and respect questions. And you get some other shows. Some things like reaction shots are over there now. So go over there and check that out. You also get access to Fast and Loose. You'll get access to our Discord where you can check out the behind the scenes of that meetup that happens, to get some of those photos from other people that are in there. And in general, like people are posting food photos and stuff, as well as pitches on these news stories. I am always in there looking to see what are they talking about, what's hitting there. And you get to vote on those monthly top 10s as well. At the $10 level, you can join our contributor tier to submit to things like our Q&A and stream team and the showcase. And then $25 and up is for different tiers of producers to get a little bit of credit on this podcast every month. And our platinum producers get a shout out every week, as well as shout outs on Frame Trap and Reaction Shots. And this month's shout outs go to Jabawabs, Elfanis, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, and Garrett Holfish. Shout out. Don, you won that bet, but you did get Isla's rewards last week.
Huh?
So it's up to you. Do you return the favor or take your rewards for yourself?
Wait, what did I win last time?
Bloodworth, I'm so happy. What a beautiful suggestion. Nothing would make as happy as I am that I won, because this is the first time this season I actually had no idea. I didn't understand the bet or the result. It was all one big blur, blood explaining it. But there's nothing I would like more than return the favor, Isla.
I didn't even know I won last week. What did I win? What was the bet last week?
I'll look it up. I'll show you.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
So yeah, you get to promote any Easy Allies videos you like to promote. You get the final word on anything you disagreed with, want to reiterate, or just popped in your head, and you get to sign off with your trademark sign off.
I remember the bet.
Oh, you remember the bet?
It was the capybara thing.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Trailer.
Oh!
You bet
Yeah,
the
because they
last-
didn't have a
yeah.
new trailer because they delayed
Woo!
a week after
was
announcing their release date.
funny.
Sick.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. The video I would like to recommend is that we've got season 5 of Achieve It Yourself happening right now, baby.
Heck yeah.
Episode 1 just went up. This season is public, and if you want the extendeds, they're on patreon.com/easyallies. Moving forward, season 6 will be Patreon exclusive. So get in, see if you like the show.
And it may not
There's
be
a
in a
bunch more of
seasonal
them.
format. It may be
It
different.
actually, yeah, it will be monthly after this. So that's cool. You'll get more. It's actually a better value. But be in that patreon.com/easyallies.
Yeah, and we got
Check that
some
out.
cool logos from Gabby in there too.
Yes, we
Some
did.
people were hyping those
the
up when they
team
saw 'em.
names. I love the team names. Yeah, so Achieve Yourself. We really like it. It's one of the most fun shows to produce. And yeah, so check that out. Final word is we should talk to ESA a lot, and rightly so. But just to put a positive spin on it too, like the feeling of being at E3 is something special. Like it's something I miss. I was really looking forward to going back this year before they canceled it. Other cons feel really cool, and Gamescom was super awesome when we went there and stuff, but there was that special weird E3 vibe, the heat, the exhaustion, it was just a special time, and I really miss it. So if they do find some way, or if somebody finds some way to bring that back, some facsimile of that, I would be very happy about it. Good night and good game. That is so left field, but you're so right.